Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Kisi Gaur Nitai ki jai, Kisi Radha Shyam Sundar ki jai, Kisi Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Gaura Premanandi. Oh, glorious to the assembled devotees. Oh, glorious to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Oh, Krishna Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vacharine Nivasesha Sunyavadi Pastachade Shatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Come on, you lazy guys, put your hands up. Come on, a bunch of lazy guys. Eating too much or too little?
Buď jste jedli moc, anebo moc málo.
This is yoga. Yoga. This is yoga. Come on. Yoga. Right? It's yoga, right?
Je to yoga?
Yoga. Surrender.
Odevzdání.
Surrender. Eh? Surrender or else. Hare Krishna, yes. A good picture, this one. Hello, Chaitanya. Mostly, you see his hands are up in the air. Is he here? Here he is.
There.
And he's got his hands up in the air. So is Lord Nityananda. They keep their hands up there all the time.
All the time?
All day and night. Even when they sleep, they got their hands up, right?
Když jdou spát, tak mají ruce nahoře. Ale pořád mají ruce nahoře.
Even though we put them to sleep, they always keep
their hands up, yeah. Yeah, they've got their hands up. Sometimes they have different poses, but they've usually got their hands up.
Někdy mají i jinak.
Sometimes they got one hand up and one hand down.
Jednu ruku nahoru, jednu ruku dolů.
Sometimes, in case you see Lord Chaitanya has got both hands like this.
Někdy vidíme Pána Čaitanyu.
He's giving, give, take. But what he's telling to do when he puts his hands, he's telling to put your hands up. That's what he's doing.
Že když má ty ruce božstvo Pána Čaitanyi takhle, tak vám vlastně říká jako zvedněte ruce.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's a spontaneous thing to put your hands up when you win something, isn't it?
Je to, když vyhrajete třeba, tak je to úplně spontánní věc zvednout ruce.
Or sometimes when you know, of course, if you're being arrested, the first thing the police say is put your hands up.
Nebo když vás zatýkají, tak první, co vás jako...
Put your hands up.
Co vám ten
put your hands up.
Policajt řekne, ruce vzhůru.
Otherwise you'll be arrested by Maya.
Jinak budete zatčení Májou.
Ah, definitely. And you know, Harinam Sankirtan, Kirtan, it just feels so natural. Even the public like to put their hands up, don't they? And they see many people put their hands up. It's expression of joy.
Že často taky lidi zvedají ruce jako z radosti, že je to výraz radosti.
Well, those spontaneous body language, you could say, it's like body.
Je to takový spontánní jako mluva těla, řeč těla.
Okay, so today, well, just give me a minute. Where's that bag gone?
It's here.
Okay. I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing now, and if you know, don't say anything.
Teď vám neřeknu, co dělám.
Mystifying. This is very mystical. Da-da-da-dam. I don't know where. Is that okay like this?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. It's not a bread loaf.
Není to bochník chleba.
Move that back. Well, I don't know, some of you may wonder what's going on here.
Někteří z vás se určitě diví teďka, co se to tu děje.
You'll find out if Krishna allows. So what should we read from today?
Z čeho bychom dneska měli číst?
What's this? Sankalpa Vriksha. Are we reading? No, maybe not.
It's a difficult one.
Okay, we'll leave that one for today.
Over 100 verses written as a one sentence.
One sentence, that would be interesting. That will take the whole class. We can just... What should we read? What do you want to hear from? Where is it? Is it in English?
I don't have it in English, unfortunately.
Oh, they don't have it in
English. It's the only
English.
one I have. I don't have it in English.
Well, that's fine to read from, but we need the English.
Like to have a Gita? or something.
Well, I like this idea of Chaitanya Charitamrita. We need to get an English version.
Why don't we give it to you on the phone and I can
No,
have a Czech
where do we
version?
do it on my computer? It might. I'm not sure if it's in the bag still or not. I
No,
can't
it's
remember.
on the table.
Is it on the table? Is it okay? Hare Krishna, Hare Bol, Jai, Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda, Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda, Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda,
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda,
Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda, Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare,
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Oh, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare,
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Om Jnanatimmirandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Om Jnanatimmirandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam Dadati Sa Padantikam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam Dadati Sa Padantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha, Patarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Boom. Hare Krishna. Nice. Huh? Some of these things come out. What do you like to hear? Who said Chaitanya Charitamrita?
Kdo řekl Chaitanya Charitamrita?
You did. What do you want to hear?
Co
Don't tell me Adi Leela chapter 4, please.
A neříkej Adi Leela kapitola 4.
Otherwise I'm going to go back to this book here.
Ratha Yatra.
Ratha Yatra? You've had Ratha Yatra already, haven't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here in Jagannath.
Jagannath here. That's a beauty. And we're going to be going for Ratha Yatra very soon in England.
A my se chystáme na Ratha Yatru, velice brzo nás čeká.
Good idea. Good idea. You're all welcome. Next, what is it today? Saturday?
Dneska je sobota.
A week today, we're going for Ratha. We're going to be Krishna willing. Everything depends on Krishna.
Takže když Krishna bude chtít, tak za týden budeme v Londýně.
But our will is to go to Ratha Yatra in a city called Margate. I'm sure you all know where Margate is.
Ve městě, který se
Is
jmenuje...
this okay? Is this correct, like this? Is that more like it?
Yeah, would be better.
Okay, I don't know if that's just a small screen. Otherwise, it just shows everything except for the head. I haven't had a car. I thought they only did that in France. I didn't realize they did that here. Huh?
Viva la révolution.
He says, Viva la revoluce.
Vive la France. Yeah.
Guillotine.
Guillotine. Yeah, so at Margate,
Takže to je to město, které určitě všichni znáte, kam my se chystáme.
it may actually come
na
from
Rata
France.
játru.
It may be originally Mergate because le mer is French for sea. Le mer.
Že tohle to slovo
So
la
it may have
mer
been originally because
je,
it is the entrance to the ocean, basically.
je
Margate.
jako francouzský výraz pro
North Sea.
oceán.
And it's right on the end there, on the corner next to the North Sea. So they're having a Rath Theatre there. It's a small town.
Takže tam budeme, je to malý město, tam budeme mít Rata
Not been there
játru.
for 65 years.
A já jsem
last time I
v tom
was
městě nebyl 65
Not for Rath
let.
Theatre though. That was a different thing.
Nebyl jsem tam na Rata játru před těma 60
To go for our holidays there.
My jsme tam jezdili na
Sometimes.
dovolenou.
And it says to be an interesting return after 65 years.
Takže jsem si říkal, že to bude zajímavý vrátit se tam po
Fishing lab.
65
And the
letech.
next day, that's a week tomorrow, is London Rath Theatre.
A den na to v neděli bude londýnská Rata játru.
It'd be a bit of a contrast. I mean, this town is really, we call it rinky dink. It's really out of it place, you know. It's where all the leftovers, drug addicts, bums, all sorts of people hang
To
out.
bude takový kontrast, protože to město je takový jako malý,
Little tiny rath car.
plný takových
We have a
podivných
little rath car there.
existencí.
And then London,
Máme jenom
with
malinkou ratu.
three big rath cars. I guess they're having three. They usually do three big rath cars in
A
London.
v Londýně budou 3 velký vozy,
10 or 20,000 people on the parade.
10 až 20 tisíc lidí v průvodu.
Phenomenal festival.
Neuvěřitelný
And
festival.
anyway, Rath Theatre in London been going on since '69,
A Rata játra v Londýně už probíhá od roku 69.
and without a break actually every year since '69.
A nikdy nebyla přerušena od 69.
With its ups and downs, but it's still been going on.
Byly tam různý výkyvy, ale vždycky probíhala.
I guess most of you have seen the footage of the '73 Rath Theatre with Prabhupada dancing.
Myslím, že jste všichni viděli ty záběry ze 73. z londýnský Rata
You've
játry,
seen
kde
that one?
Prabhupád tancuje.
And you can see Prabhupada, not all the time, but much of the time he's got his hands up. He's all the way along the parade, he's like dancing all the way along.
Prabhupád skoro celý ten průvod šel s rukama jako nahoře a tancoval.
That was one of the maybe one of the most famous, if not the most famous Rath Theatre in ISKCON.
Je to možná jedna pravděpodobně nejslavnější, nejproslavenější Rata
So
játra.
we're planning to go for that. The next week there's two more Rath Theatres, one in Brighton, which you may have heard of Brighton. It's a famous seaside resort.
Pak je ještě další Rata játra v Brightonu.
And another one in a small town called Crawley. Crawley. Creepy Crawley.
Almost like Karoli.
Crawley.
A pak je další Rata játra ve městě, který se jmenuje Crawley.
Yeah, Crawley. We call it Creepy Crawley in English.
A v angličtině tomu říkáme jako podivný Crawley.
But it's a good Rath Theatre. The next week we go to a first time ever Rath Theatre in one town. First time they've ever had it in this town.
A takže to bude první, příští týden pojedeme na Rata játru, která bude v tom místě úplně
And that
poprvé.
place is called Swindon.
Why
you laugh?
To místo se jmenuje Swindon. The names are kind of funny.
Swindon? What's funny about Swindon?
Almost like
The only
Swindon.
thing funny about Swindon is that's where I'm born. That's the only thing funny about that place. It's the most boring place on the planet, I tell you.
Je, že jsem se tam narodil.
I was born in the right place. It's such a boring place.
Já jsem se narodil na správném místě, protože to bylo tak nudný místo.
Anyway, that's the first one they're having for some reason. So I thought I'd better go since, you know.
Takže já jsem si říkal, že tam bych měl být, na téhle Rata játře bych měl být.
And anyway, we got 5 Rath Theatres coming up in just over 2 weeks. Really.
Takže v příštích 2 týdnech nás čeká 5 Rata játer.
Very nice to have Rath Theatre every day.
Skoro Rata játra každý den.
Huh? You could do. I mean, you have to have a traveling rath car. You could do it every day.
Kdybyste měli jako ratu, tak byste mohli dělat ratayátru.
You know Parashuram in London?
Znáte Parashuráma z Londýna?
Who knows Parashuram in London?
Kdo zná Parashurámu z Londýna?
I mean, you heard of him. Who's heard of him?
Kdo o něm slyšel, ale
Parashuram. Who's heard of Parashuram? I'm not sure if you got your hand up or not. You had your finger. Yeah, Parashuram. I'm surprised you haven't heard of Parashuram.
Já jsem překvapený, jak málo z vás slyšelo o Parashurámu.
Where's Jamadagni probably? He never came today?
Kde je Jamadagni? Je tu dneska?
Jamadagni is the father of Parashuram. Jamadagni is the father of Parashuram.
Jamadagni je otec Parashuráma.
You got the right name. Parashuram. He's an amazing devotee.
On dostal správný jméno.
You can't believe this devotee. I'll just tell a little story, just recent. This is recent. When we were in London, Mahanan, about 3 months ago, was it?
3 months, I think.
Yeah, maybe 3 months, 2 or 3 months ago, we were doing a program with a devotee named Giridhari. Now they do festival programs, in halls and things.
Před 2-3 měsícema jsme byli v Londýně, dělali jsme program s programy s Giridhari Prabhuem.
He's a disciple, not initiated, but Siksha disciple of Tribhuvanath, if you've ever heard of
A
Tribhuvanath.
on je jako
He's carrying on his program.
Tribhuvanath Prabhu.
Amazing devotee. Anyway, Parashuram's another one who's like a Siksha disciple of Tribhuvanath.
A Parashuram je taky takovýhle šiksha žák.
And so Giridhari arranges these programs, and this was the first one for 3 years because of COVID.
A tohle byl festival, který se Giridharimu podařilo udělat po 3 letech.
He asked me to go there to give the speech, at the festival.
A takže on mě požádal, jestli tam můžu dát nějakou řeč na tom festivalu.
And there was a good turnout. There was quite a few hundred people came.
A bylo tam dost lidí, několik set lidí přišlo.
And Parashuram turned up there.
A Parashuram se tam taky objevil.
And he just arrived from Ukraine.
A zrovna přijel z Ukrajiny.
He just driven 2 days non-stop from Kharkov to London to get there for the festival.
Byl zrovna po 2denní cestě jako v kuse.
He'd been doing Food for Life in Ukraine.
On tam dělal na Ukrajině Food
and he
for
took
Life.
like 20 tons or something of boga to Ukraine in a lorry. Or lorries or something, I don't know, tons of them.
A dokázali tam dostat nějakých 20 tun bogy jako na.
And they just drove, and he's the only driver. He just drove more or less day and night for 2 days.
Prakticky den a noc v kuse řídil.
And then as soon as he arrived in London, he cooked the feast for the festival.
A okamžitě jak dojel, tak uvařil hostinu.
And he came straight to the festival.
A pak přišel na ten festival.
And he does a performance. He's a magician. He's a magician. He did the magic show.
On je kouzelník, on tam předvedl
Led the
kouzla.
kirtan.
Takže vedl kirtan.
Pack everything away and go home. And get ready for the next day.
Všechno zbalil, jel domů.
This guy is.
Byl připravený
He
na
hardly
další
sleeps,
den.
He does sleep a little bit, but hardly. He hardly
On
sleeps.
trošku spí,
And
ne
he never
moc, ale
stops.
trošku. A nikdy
Food
se
for life.
nezastaví.
He never stops. Food for life distribution. Nothing can stop him.
Nic ho nezastaví.
Not even ISKCON administration can't stop him. If ISKCON administration can't stop one, that means you're really powerful, I tell you.
Pokud vás nezastaví ani
Hope there's no
iskonská
administrators
administrativa, tak už vás nezastaví nic.
He's just incredible, And now Rath Yatras, he does, I don't know if he did it this year, or maybe not, I think he went to Ukraine instead, but normally he does this Rath Yatra tour.
A normálně, co on dělá, je to ratayátrový tour.
He's got his own Rath car, he packs it on the back of his truck on a trailer.
Takže on má svůj ratayátrový vůz, naloží si ho na svůj trak.
Together with a bunch of, whatever he can get his hands on, devotees. And they head off to Scandinavia.
A se svojí skupinou oddaných tak vyrazí do
And
Skandinávie.
they go there to see Parashuram. No, Parashuram. Yeah, it's the right place for him, isn't it? Scandinavia is the land of Skanda.
A Skandinávie, to je dobrá
also a warrior.
země pro něj.
So they go to Scandinavia. And one day, they'll just arrive in somewhere like Aalborg or some city in Denmark, and they'll do a Rath Yatra just like that.
Tak oni prostě dorazejí do nějakého města v Dánsku a řeknou si, jo,
drive
uděláme
to
ratayátru.
Copenhagen or something and do a Rath Yatra there the next day.
A pak přijedou do, jak se to řekne česky, do Kodaně a a udělají ratayátru tam.
Then he drives into Norway, Oslo, and does a Rath Yatra there.
Pak přijede do Osla, do Norska.
Then he
udělá
drives
ratayátru
down to
tam.
Gothenburg and does a Rath Yatra there.
Pak přijede do Göteborgu.
Then he drives down to Malmo and does a Rath Yatra there.
Pak do Malmö.
Then he drives back to Denmark and does another Rath Yatra there.
A zase do Dánska.
This all takes place in 10 days.
A to všechno se stane během 10
And a lot
dní.
of driving too in between. And he cooks the prasadam himself.
Je to spoustu řízení a taky pořád vaří pro ty
He's
festivaly.
incredible. I mean, he's a phenomenon. He's a
On je
phenomenon.
fakt neuvěřitelný.
You know, he was in the IRA before he became a devotee, if you know what that is.
A on byl v Iře, jako v
You
Iránu.
you know IRA?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's this Ireland...
Irish Revolutionary Army.
Yeah.
They were fighting against the British. Kick him out of Northern Ireland. He's a revolution. This guy's a revolution. He's incredible.
On je prostě revolucionář.
I just trying to remember why I brought him up in the first place. Rath Yatra? Oh yeah, Margaret. All these Rath Yatras. Many of these he does the Rath Yatra car and does all the cooking. Even London Rath Yatra, he cooks.
Takže on u spousty těch ratajáter on je jako a vaří tam dokonce i pro londýnskou ratajátru.
Only for 10,000 people, not many.
Jenom asi tak pro 10 000 lidí, ne moc.
He cooks all night long. You know.
Vaří celou noc.
It's true. And yeah, if we had a little drop of his determination, his surrender, his dedication.
Kdyby jsme měli alespoň kapku jeho nasazení.
He even came to
jeho
France
odevzdání.
many times. He has this program, Feed the 5,000.
On přijel do Francie se svým programem Nakrm 5000.
We can't even feed the devotees in France, but he comes there and feeds the 5,000, you know.
Ve Francii my nedokážeme nakrmit ani oddaný, on tam přijede a nakrmí 5000 lidí.
He just goes to a city, he gets permission, he sets up in the city and just distributes 5,000 plates of prasadam.
On prostě přijede do města, uvaří a rozdá 5000 porcí prasadam.
Nantes and Lille and all kinds of places he was going, he's not doing that.
Na všechny ty místa ve Francii.
This is the mood of, you could say, of Rath Yatra, is complete, absolute absorption in this spirit of devotion.
A to je nálada ratayátry. Úplné pohroužení se do nálady oddanosti.
Now, talking about London, before we start, I just mentioned one or two little things.
A než začneme, tak když mluvíme o Londýně, tak já zmíním dvě věci.
A couple of months ago, when we were leaving England, we were going to be going by train, wasn't it? Train? We were going to take the train from London to Paris. They have this very good train.
Takže než jsme odjížděli z Londýna, my jsme měli naplánováno jet s vlakem. Tam
2.5 hours now on the train from London to Paris.
Dobrý spojení z Londýna do Paříže jenom za 2,5 hodiny.
Underneath the ocean, you know,
pod oceánem.
Channel. They asked me to give the Bhagavatam class in the morning.
Tak oni mě požádali, abych dal Bhagavatam lekci ráno.
How many of you have been to the Soho Street Temple?
Kolik z vás bylo v chrámu na Soho Street?
Mahadevi? Mahadevi. Someone mentioned. Huh? What is that? What's that?
And there is one more devotee raising his hand behind
Is
the
it?
corner.
Okay. I can see quite clearly there.
Já ho velice jasně vidím.
So 3, 4, 5 of you have been to the Soho Street
3,
Temple.
4, 5 z vás bylo.
And they've got like a ledge around the outside. This is like, you know, all the way around they've got this kind of ledge, just like about that wide or
A
something.
oni mají takovej parapet jako všude kolem celé místnosti.
So as I came down for the class, I saw, as I was about to sit down, I saw there was a bag. It was a bigger bag than this.
Když jsem přišel dolů do té chrámové místnosti,
Sitting on, that's going to go off there soon. Put it
we
somewhere.
can have it here.
Put it somewhere safe. This is going to be dodgy.
Yeah.
I'll put that there. So
Tak jsem viděl, že tam na tom
I
parapetu
saw this lovely looking bag. It was a really nice bag, you know.
tak tam byla taková krásně vypadající taštička.
It was like a carrier bag, but bigger than this, and it was similar color actually.
Byla to podobná barva, trošku větší.
Pink. It had one of these things on it. It was pink.
Byla růžová.
And I think it was pink, and it had blue writing as far as I
A
remember.
bylo na tom modré
And it
písmo.
said on there, a gift of love.
A ten nápis říkal dárek z lásky.
I know some devotees just put it there during the class. So, say la vie.
Já jsem si říkal, nějaký oddanej si to tam
After the class was over, I saw the bag was still sitting there.
A po lekci jsem si všiml, že tam furt je.
So I said, after classes, I'd have to look at it. Look, it's a fascinating bag. It was kind of like, you know, one of those bags you want to look at, you know.
Byl to taková ta taška, jako která přitahuje.
Big store in London, probably they got some clothes from there or something.
Pravděpodobně z nějakého velkého obchodní
is this anyone's bag that's sitting here? Just right behind the asana. It was right behind.
A bylo to přímo za asanem.
Nobody said no.
Tak jsem se ptal, je to něčí, jako patří to někomu? Tak,
One Mataji said, I've seen it there for a day or two at least.
A jedna Mataji říkala, já už to tady vídám asi 2 dny.
Which is very unusual in Soho Street. Usually everything's cleared out every night, you know.
Což je velice
It's been there at least a day or two.
Což je v tom chrámu velice neobvyklý, protože večer
and then one devotee
se všechno uklidí.
Said he had a peek in it the day before. He had a little look inside.
A jeden oddaný říkal, já jsem se do toho
For some reason he didn't do anything. He just opened it and had a look inside. So we looked in the bag.
Takže my jsme se podívali.
And I thought at first it was a loaf. But then, because there's a bigger bag and it was dark inside, a little like fruit cake or something, you know. So I pulled it out, and there was a box inside, a wooden treasure chest. Ooh.
Tam byla takováhle krásná dřevěná krabička.
And then this one devotee said he had a little look in it the day before, and he said, I think it was a Govardhan Sheila inside.
A ten oddaný nám říká, já jsem do toho včera nahlídnul a myslím si, že tam je Govardhan Sheila.
Is this real? Has it just been lying there for days?
To tam už dny jako leží.
So we slowly opened the box.
Tak jsme pomalu otevřeli krabičku.
There's not a genie inside.
Není tam džin.
Yes, my master.
Ano, pane.
Command me what to do.
Nařiď mi, co mám dělat.
Okay. Clean all the windows in the house right now.
Vyčisti všechny okna v mém domě.
Not that type of treasure.
Tak tenhle ten poklad tam nebyl.
We open the box. Everyone's suspense, you know, and the devotees were looking. We opened the box.
A my jsme takhle otevřeli
and
tu
there was inside were some flowers.
Všechno, co tam bylo,
and in the middle of those flowers, which is not what it is now, of course, there was a beautiful little Sheila of Giriraj.
A uprostřed těch květin byla takováhle Govardhan Sheila.
Giriraj Maharaj ki
jai. So we wondered what to do. What is this message that Giriraj is giving here?
Tak jsme si říkali, co to je, co se nám snaží Giriraj dát za zprávu.
As the first devotee you saw him was from France.
A když ten první oddaný, který ho viděl, tak byl...
This boy was from France who saw him the day before.
Ten jako kluk, co otevřel tu krabičku jako první,
and I'm from France now, and not from Swindon anymore.
Já už jsem taky teďka z Francie.
And the next devotee was Nandini. You remember Nandini? She was also, she's the wife of our temple president, co-president.
A další oddaná,
she was the next one to see.
Byla Nandini,
so I thought,
je manželka
the
našeho
first 3 or 4 devotees who've seen this Giriraj at this moment were all related to France. So I thought, maybe he wants to come to France.
Takže všichni oddaní, co ho viděli, toho Giriraje jako první, tak byli z Francie.
Temple president quickly came over, running over. Hey, you can't take anything to France. Hold on there.
That happened?
Well, he came over. He didn't say that.
Takže si toho všiml temple president.
And I just asked him, you know anything about this? He said, no idea. What this is? Who's put this lady here? No idea. Nobody had a clue how he got there.
Nikdo neměl vůbec žádnou představu, jak se tam mohl dostat.
They've got these cameras, you know, in the temple. CCTV, is that what you call it? CTV or something?
Yeah. A oni mají ty jako
and they're all recorded,
kamery jako v chrámu.
So there's one devotee there, Tripad, he's very expert at, you know, locating things when they happen. He's been doing it for 15 years. So he checked on the TV, you know,
jeden oddanej zkontroloval jako historii té kamery.
And he saw one Indian man had come into the temple a couple of days ago, I think on Sunday evening or something.
A viděl jednoho indického člověka, Inda,
big mask.
Měl masku jako
COVID mask.
No, jako proti covidu, roušku.
COVID. You couldn't really tell who he was, even if you knew he was so
Že
covered.
byste ho ani nerozpoznali, i kdybyste věděli,
And they
kdo
saw
to
him
je.
coming in on the camera. He walked over right to that spot. He kind of, put the bag behind the chair. Well, it wasn't chair, wasn't it? He just put the bag there, quickly bowed down and walked out again.
A on tam takhle přišel za zády tam dal tu tašku, poklonil se a rychle odešel.
Never came back. No one knew about him.
Nikdy se nevrátil.
They sent out a message on social media. No response from anyone.
Oni poslali zprávu na svoje sociální
Late
média.
that evening, we were leaving for France. So I said, "Well, Diamore, the temple battle." I said, "If you have no objection, I know he hasn't got a ticket or anything like that, but I think we can sneak him in without a ticket or without a COVID pass." He had no COVID pass.
A tak já jsem řekl tomu prezidentovi, kdyby ti to nevadilo, tak sice pro něj ještě nemáme lístek, ale já doufám, že ho nějak dokážeme propašovat a mohl by jet s náma do Francie.
So he came all the way to France and now he's come here. Takže, he's not going to stay, by the way. He's going to carry on.
Takže on přijel do Francie a teď je až tady.
He'll be going back to where he appeared to us a few months ago. He'll be returning there in a few weeks.
A my se zanedlouho se vrátíme tam, kde on k nám přišel.
Someone like to put Giriraj on the where should we put the asan? Here?
Yes, that's a good place.
So why don't somebody who knows how to do it? Otherwise I have to stop the class basically. Jerry. Okay, you have to undo the mukut in order to put it on properly. And don't forget this one. Shoes, Giriraj, and there's a little peacock feather goes on there. Well, that was that, and that was a very exciting. Let's say. And now the other thing was just a few weeks before that. I mean, maybe some of you saw last time I was here. I was traveling with Kurma Day.
A možná někteří z vás ví, že jsem dřív cestoval s Kurmašilou.
So Kurma's not with us anymore.
Kurma už s náma není.
He didn't crawl away or.
on se odplazil.
But one devotee, a disciple there in France, is very nice brahmachari, and he's taking a Sankirtan party.
A jeden oddanej.
He was very much wanting to worship Shila.
Jeden pěkný oddanej, co dělá Sankirtan, co je jako
they got a little Sankirtan house, so I don't know, something inspired me to hand over the worship, and he took over the worship.
Nevím proč, ale něco mě inspirovalo, on měl tu touhu, jako ho uctívat, tak něco mě inspirovalo,
and then literally the day I gave over the Kurma, I left for England.
A ten den, kdy já jsem mu ho dal, tak
and the day I was leaving England to go back to France, Giriraj appeared.
A v ten den, kdy jsem se vracel do Francie, tak přišel Giriraj.
And another interesting thing that took place was, for a long time I've been traveling with Haridas Thakur.
A další zajímavá věc, která se stala, že jsem dlouho cestoval s Murty Haridas Thakura.
And various reasons I gave Haridas to be looked after by one of my disciples in New Mayapur named Namachari. His name is Namachari.
A já jsem ho dal na starost jednomu oddanému z Nového Mayapuru, který se jmenuje Náma Acharya.
So I thought, it's difficult for me. I travel with no deities, but so I was traveling a little while with no deities.
Takže chvíli jsem cestoval bez
then Giriraj came.
Bez božstev a pak přišel Giriraj.
You okay there? Yeah, relax, don't worry. Oh, you got to put the Gunjamala on there. Gunjamala's there too. Yeah, it might be a little difficult with a crown on. You put it on double. You can see him. Be careful he doesn't slip. It's not a very secure asana. Yeah. So anyway, about, I suppose you could say, a week after we arrived back or less?
Less than a week.
Less than a week, just a few days, wasn't it, after we got back from England.
Ani ne týden potom, co jsme se vrátili z
Anglie. And I had a phone call.
Tak mi někdo volal.
And this was a phone call from a devotee in Moscow.
A volal mi oddaný z Moskvy.
Well, he wasn't living in Moscow at that time. He's staying with Niranjan Swami in Mayapur.
On v tu dobu nebyl jako v Moskvě.
But he's kind of very involved in Moscow. His name is Madan Mohan Prabhu.
Ale on je velice jako angažovaný v Moskvě.
Senior brahmachari.
Madan Mohan.
Senior Russian brahmachari.
Byl tady v Čechách, jestli si ho pamatujete.
So he phoned me up. He said, Maharaj, have you received a parcel in the post?
Tak on se ptal, Maharaj, už si obdržel poštou tu svoji zásilku?
Yeah, I said, not to my knowledge. What do you mean by that? He said, well, we sent you a parcel in the post.
A Maharáj říká, no nic o tom nevím zatím. O čem to je? Jako, co
not to my knowledge. But these Mahananda and other devotees, they were cheating me. They were playing a trick.
Ale Mahananda a ostatní tak mě
they knew that a parcel had arrived.
Oni věděli, že už ten balíček
přišel. But they were told to wait for a specific day before revealing it.
Ale jim bylo řečeno, že mají počkat na specifický den, než mě to řeknou.
And so on that particular day, Madan Mohan phoned up. It was the anniversary of Prabhupada's arrival in Moscow.
A ten specifický den bylo den, kdy Prabhupada dorazil do Moskvy.
Yeah, Prabhupada came in 1971 to Moscow.
V 71. roce
so whatever it is, 51 years later. So they waited for that particular day.
Takže oni čekali na ten specifický den.
And then he phoned me up, and then Mananda, was it Nitai Charan? And Nitai Charan Prabhu Brahmachari came in with this little box, a packet, not box, a packet from Moscow.
A oni teda potom přinesli ten balíček z Moskvy.
So I said to Madan Mohan Prabhu, I said, well, what is it? He said, you have to wait and see. I'm not going to tell you, you have to open it.
A já jsem se nejdřív ptal Madan Mohan Prabhu, a co to je? A on říkal, ne,
he asked them to video as we open it. This is really weird, what's going on here?
On poprosil, jako, aby se natočilo video toho, jak to Maharaj otvírá.
This is like something, what's going on? I didn't know what was happening.
A já jsem vůbec nevěděl, co se děje.
It was, I suppose it was about this big, the packet.
Takhle přibližně velký byl ten balíček.
Paper off, there was a cardboard, took that off, there was something else, maybe some stuffing, took that out, and another wrapping, took that off. And then finally, we came to the core.
Takže nejdřív tam bylo několik vrstev, které jsme museli rozbalit, až jsme se dostali k tomu jádru.
And if you can, someone who can reach, kindly hand me that little white box there. Don't move, either hand it or don't. Yeah, okay, if you can reach it safely. And right in the middle of it was this little tiny white box.
A uprostřed toho byla tahle bílá krabička.
Another nice box, huh? Magic box.
Je to pěkná
and it says Parama Karuna Mandir, Moscow.
A je na něm napsáno Parama Karuna Mandir, Moskva.
That's the Sankirtan ashram in Moscow.
To je
Harinam Mandir.
V Moskvě.
Harinam party. And I still didn't really know what was going on.
A pořád jsem ale vůbec nevěděl, co se děje.
So they said, open it, Maharaj, open it. So I opened it.
Tak oni říkali, otevři to, Maharaj.
It's got like a magnetic, you know those things they have, there's like magnets on there. Boop. See?
Je to takhle magnetický to otvírání.
I wish our attraction to Krishna was like, as soon as you go a little way away, boom, straight back to Krishna again.
Já bych si přál, aby takhle fungoval i Krishna. Jakmile jste trošičku od něj, tak by vás takhle přitáhl zpátky.
You have to have a strong magnet there. I think prasadam is the main magnet which we have.
Myslím, že prasadam takhle funguje.
Even if everything else is off, at least we come back for more prasadam. The main attraction. Oh, now it's got really stuck, I can't even open it. God, it's really attached to Krishna. And I opened it and look what's inside.
Já jsem to takhle otevřel a podívejte se, co tam je.
There's Prabhupada in Vrindavan.
Tam je Prabhupada ve Vrindavanu.
A beautiful little box. And there's something written here.
A tam
you read it.
Tam je něco napsáno. Tam je napsáno pro Jananandu Gosvámího s hlubokou vděčností pro tvou podporu Štíla Prabhupádovy Sankirtanové mise.
Oh, that's their website, isn't it?
Yeah.
www.sankirtan.help.
A je tady stránka jako www.sankirtana.help.
So what's this all about? I'm still, not quite sure what's happening here, really.
A pořád si vůbec nejsem jistý, co se
tady děje. This is quite a surprise. I mean, shock, such a nice gift, or whatever it is. Message, if nothing else.
Ať je to cokoliv, tak je to krásný dárek.
One more time.
A pak jsem to otevřel ještě jednou.
It was all, actually, it wasn't like that. It was all wrapped up. But then I opened the other one, and there's Prabhupada walking in Moscow.
A pak jsem otevřel tu druhou stranu a tam byl Prabhupada, jak se prochází po Moskvě.
See, what a wonderful gift.
To je takový úžasný dárek.
Nice, huh? And? Give me an and. That's it. That's it.
To je všechno.
I was so anticipated, then I became shocked. So it's an empty box. No, there was a nice big cloth wrapper, and I took the cloth out of the box.
A tam byla látka, jako taková obalující látka.
I should have wrapped him up in his cloth again, I forgot. Yeah. So then I took out the cloth, and that was the real shock. Look who was there. Whoa.
A když jsem rozbalil tu látku, tak se podívejte, kdo tam
yeah. And if you look closer later on when you get the chance, you'll be amazed how accurate, how perfect this mold or this little deity of Prabhupada is.
A když se potom na něj budete moct podívat
you can see each and every one of his neck beads.
Tak uvidíte, jak dokonalý to murti je.
You can see the knot on his
každou korálku na jeho antimánu.
You can see his fingernails. You can see the veins on his hand.
Dokonce i žíly na jeho rukou jsou tam jako.
All them different indentations on his face, facial expressions, everything's there.
A i jako specifický výraz
Such
obličeje.
an expert reproduction, you could say, or expansion. So expert. Now, how they did this and why they did this? Well, we take the clock back to. Now, maybe we can put him somewhere. Where can he go?
Yeah, he can go in there.
Is there room there?
Yeah.
But then it's nice to keep the whole thing open. It might be a bit big.
Dej tam růžičky před to.
Okay.
Oh, careful. You have to hold him with your thumb. So, the story is that maybe last October, something like that, the devotees in this Moscow ashram sent out an appeal. I think it was one of these GoFundMe appeals or something like that. I can't remember.
Ten příběh je, že minulý říjen, tak ti oddaní z toho Sankirtanového střediska, tak poslali žádost přes GoFundMe.
Because all of their Sankirtan vehicles were basically broken.
Protože všechny jejich Sankirtanové vozidla byly úplně rozbité.
Prabhupada book marathon was coming up in a couple of months.
A za 2 měsíce měl přijít Prabhupada marathon.
They wanted to get some more new vehicles for Sankirtan.
Takže oni chtěli získat nový veny pro Sankirtan.
I thought, well, what's the point of this? Of what we're doing is to assist, if we have the opportunity, a little bit in helping the performance of Sankirtan. That's what our purpose is, you know.
Takže a já jsem si říkal, to je to, co my děláme, jako co jiného můžeme dělat, než podporovat Sankirtan.
Give me Prabhupada. I'm going to put him up to the camera because the ones online can't see anything. Go careful. Where's the camera? Is it one of these?
It's up there. Yeah.
It's on there, is it? Okay, you can. Here's Prabhupada. Don't know how easily you can see.
Now they've seen him better than the old
You can show him, but I'm a bit unsteady in the hand there. Okay. So anyway, I tried to send what I could to help them for that GoFundMe.
Takže já jsem prostě poslal, co jsem mohl.
And they managed. I'm sure many others sent more money than I did.
A já jsem si jistý, že spousta dalších poslalo mnohem víc peněz.
They managed to buy seven new Sankirtan vehicles.
A jim se podařilo koupit 7 nových Sankirtan.
And marathon was very successful this year.
Bylo to velice úspěšné.
And they thought to reciprocate by sending these little deities to those who gave donations.
A jejich nápad, jak opětovat ty příspěvky, bylo, že pošlou tohle jako dárek.
These are not ordinary deities.
Ale tohle to není obyčejný božstvo.
So expertly done. The mold they made was so accurate.
Jak se tomu říká, to do čeho vyleješ tu forma. Ta forma byla tak precizně jako vyrobená, tak.
But how did they do it? They had a master plan.
A jak oni to udělali? Oni měli velký plán.
By utilizing the Russian economy.
Jak použijou ruskou ekonomii.
You've seen this before, haven't you? In a unique way. They sent me a video. I've got actually I didn't bring that. That's on a little card which didn't come with this. But I got it back in my problem. They show how they did it. But they collected when they did Sankirtan, they collected the coins. You know, you've been out selling books, people give you coins sometimes.
Že jak rozdávali knížky, tak kolektovali mince.
A lot of these coins, I don't know about all, but a lot of these coins they collected them up from Sankirtan.
Takže z toho Sankirtanu nazbírali spoustu mincí.
From the marathon, no?
Z toho maratonu.
And you know, because these coins, you know, they're made from molds. You know, it's the perfect blend of metallic substance to make accurate reproduction.
A věc je, že ty mince se vyrábějí z té nejlepší, jako nejkvalitnější.
You can say that's very dirty, you know, those coins are really dirty. Yeah.
Člověk by si řekl, že
might even have COVID on it, you never know what's on those coins.
Velice jako špinavý a
beer drinkers, meat eaters,
jako všichni opilci a jedlíci masa na to šáhali.
But you know, to make, let's say, like this date, to make any reproduction, you have to fire the coins. You have to melt the coins down at high intense fire. They're like more than boiling point.
A když vy chcete jako z těch mincí takhle je vylejt do té formy, tak je musíte vlastně rozstavit obrovskou teplotou.
See in the video, it's like liquid. It's like boiling liquid.
Je to úplně jako tekutá věc.
And they pour it, and they made many molds in a kind of a system. There like 8 of these they made at once, and they pour this boiling liquid into them, and it forms these perfect forms.
A oni to nalejou, když je to rozstavený takhle, tak to nalejou do té formy a vyjde z toho takhle krásně.
So this way, Srila Prabhupada very kind. Even if we drift away sometimes from Krishna consciousness or consciousness, let's say.
I kdyby se nám jako podařilo nějak odplout od Krishna vědomí.
Merciful the Lord is, and how merciful is, even more merciful his pure devotees.
Tak už tak, jak je milostivý Krishna, tak jeho čistý oddaný je ještě milostivější.
To drag us back.
Takže k nám přijde a takhle nás dotáhne zpátky.
Or they send there to, I hope it didn't tear you. Oh, it's not a curtain. That's good. He's got another curtain, hasn't he? Where's your wife? Is not here.
Disappeared.
Okay. Anyway, there was just because we wanted them to also, you know, give their darshan to you. So Rath Yatra? Okay.
Takže jdem na tu Ratha Yatru.
Madhya Lila. Madhya Lila. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The ecstatic dancing of Lord at the Rath Yatra. Ready?
Jste připraveni na extatický
Everyone ready?
tanec?
Yes.
Ready for some ecstatic dancing?
Yes.
Jai. Whoops. Okay.
It's 11 or?
It's chapter 13.
13, yeah.
Madhya Lila. Okay, I'll just read one verse or two. Sajiyat Krishna Chaitanya Sri Ragatrena Nartayaha Yena Sid Jagatam Chitrang Jaganato Vismitaha. Repeat. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, who danced in front of the car of Sri Jagannath, be all glorified. By seeing his dancing, not only was the whole universe held in wonder, but Lord Jagannath himself became very much astonished.
Nechť je oslavován nejvyšší pán, osobnost božství Šrí Krishna Chaitanya, který tančil před vozem Šrí Jagannatha. Jeho tančení ohromilo celý vesmír a žasl i samotný pán Jagannath.
Jai Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda. All glories to Shri Krishna Chaitanya and Prabhu Nityananda. All glories to Advaita Chandra and all glories to the devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Sláva Šrí Krishnovi Chaitanyovi a Prabhuovi Nityanandovi a sláva Advaita Chandrovi. Sláva oddaným pána Šrí Chaitany Mahaprabhua.
Slava means glorious?
Glorious.
Maybe you had to learn one word in Czech.
Možná
That's quite an easy word to learn. It sounds quite easy. Slava?
Možná se mi podaří naučit se alespoň jedno slovo v češtině, je docela jednoduchý, sláva.
Oh, glorious to the listeners of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Please hear the description of the dancing of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Rath Yatra festival. His dancing is very enchanting. Please hear of it with
Rapt attention.
yes, more or less, great attention.
Sláva posluchačům Šrí Chaitanya Charitamrity. Poslechněte si prosím popis tance pána Chaitanya Mahaprabhua při slavnosti Ratha Yatra. Jeho tanec byl nesmírně okouzlující. Naslouchejte o něm prosím s napjatou pozorností.
Okay, so now we're on the day of Rath Yatra. This pastime is now the actual day of Rath Yatra.
Takže teďka...
There's water. Thank you very much. This is very nice. I've got already, I think. I need some. Where's it gone? Okay, we're going to auction this bag before we start. Who would like, it's a very special bag. This is Karagiri Raj. How much? Okay, start off. How many ladus?
Tak kolik dáte ladu za tuhle tu taštičku, která nesla Giriraj?
How many ladus will you give for this bag?
2 pieces.
2 ladus. Okay, you've got to give them. Don't forget.
Next time maybe.
Next time maybe. That's not a very definitive statement. Next time maybe.
To není úplně jako jasný prohlášení.
Come on, put the bag on his head. There you go. Wear this bag.
Dej si ho na sebe a nos ho.
Transcendental bag. There we go. Perfect fit. Oh, look at that. This is really. Look at that. Let's go down the side. Perfect.
Podívejte se, jak mu padne.
Made to measure. Made to measure.
Je to přesná míra.
2 ladus.
You can put the price on the tag there, how much it costs you.
Měli jsme na tu cedulku ještě napsat tu cenu.
Hare Krishna. It's a good bag. I mean, you could really do that.
Maybe I will put it on my home altar.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so the day before the Rath Yatra festival, the days preceding Rath Yatra, we could say.
Takže den, který předchází dni Ratha Yatry,
there's a long history.
tak k tomu se váže dlouhá historie.
Because Lord Jagannath, about 15 days, I think, isn't it? He goes off the altar, 14, 15 days. And the Vasar, he goes off the altar and he goes in the back, in seclusion.
A tak pán Jagannath 14 nebo 15 dní není vůbec na oltáři.
During that time period, that of course the specific devotees look after the Lord Jagannath.
A po tuhle tu dobu velice speciální oddaní se starají o pána Jagannatha.
They're considered to be the descendants of the Shabaras, the pig herders.
A oni jsou považováni za potomky Shabarů.
They're like the Brahmin aspect of that caste, you know? Like the Brahmin leaders of that kind of caste, the teachers of that caste.
To jsou specificky jsou to jako jejich.
So they look after Lord Jagannath at that time.
Takže oni se starají o pána Jagannatha po tu dobu.
The Lord is decorated, painted, repaired, whatever it is.
A pán je jako jsou na něm provedeny jako opravy, je znova namalován.
During that time, Lord Chaitanya, of course, had left Puri because he couldn't bear the separation from Jagannath.
A během té periody tak pán Jagannath odchází z Puri, protože nedokáže snést
odloučení. He went to Alalanath nearby the city of Alalanath.
A šel do
village.
Brahmagiri, right? Brahmagiri. A šel na to místo, kde je uctívaný pán Alalanath.
And there Lord Chaitanya was staying there in separation.
A tam pán Chaitanya tam zůstává v náladě odloučení.
Meanwhile, back in Puri, of course, there was a king named Prataparudra.
A potom zpátky v Puri, tak tam žije král, který se jmenuje Pratáparudra.
He wasn't exactly residing in Puri, but he was the king of Puri. He lived in Cuttack.
On nežil přesně v Puri, žil v Cuttacku.
And he'd been for many years actually, ever since he heard several years before this event, he heard that Lord Chaitanya or some great personality had come to Puri.
A on už před několika lety slyšel, že úžasná osobnost, pán Chaitanya, přišel do Puri.
And he very much hankered to get the association of that person.
A velice toužil potom získat pánovu společnost.
So he approached one of his spiritual masters, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya.
Takže on jako přistoupil ke svému duchovnímu mistrovi Sarvabhauma Bhattacharyovi.
Please, if you can, please arrange an appointment. I want to take the darshan. I want to see this great person.
A žádal ho, aby mu zařídil darshan u pána Chaitanya, že chce se setkat s takovou osobností.
So Sarvabhauma said that, well, that's not going to be so easy. He's a sannyasi.
A Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya mu řekl, to nebude tak jednoduchý, on je sannyasi.
But nevertheless, I would have tried, but the point is he's just left from Puri.
A jako na tom by až tak nezáleželo, ale on teďka odešel z Puri, on tu není.
So King Prataparudra was, what? How? He just came, he's already left? How is this possible? Didn't you try to stop him?
A Prataparudra Maharaj reagoval takhle, jak je to možný, když právě přišel, to jste se nesnažili ho jako mu v tom zabránit, aby odešel?
And Sarvabhauma said, yes, I did, but what can I do? He is the independent, supreme personality of Godhead.
Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya odpověděl, ano, snažil jsem se, ale co já zmůžu? On je nejvyšší osobnost božství a je svrchovaně nezávislý.
So King Prataparudra was feeling so shattered with not getting this opportunity.
A král Prataparudra se cítí velice jako mizerně, že nedostal.
And he completely believes, Swami. If you say he's the Supreme Lord, I completely accept what you say.
Once more.
Prataparudra said to Sarvabhauma, if you say that he is the Supreme Personality, I completely accept what you say.
A Prataparudra Maharaj řekl, jestli ty říkáš, že je to nejvyšší osobnost božství, tak já plně přijímám tvůj závěr.
I'm so unfortunate. What chance is there? Is there any chance that I will get a chance to meet him?
Já jsem takový nešťastník. Je nějaká šance, že bych se s ním mohl setkat?
Well, the Lord did say that he would come back after some time.
A Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya říká, jo, pán řekl, že se za nějaký čas vrátí.
And years passed.
A uběhly roky.
Eventually, after more or less 2 years,
a nakonec po 2 letech
news came that Mahaprabhu would return to Puri.
Přišly zprávy, že pán Chaitanya Mahaprabhu se vrací.
The king quickly, excitedly asked Sarvabhauma if he could make an appointment for him.
Prataparudra Maharaj se velice dychtivě ptal Sarvabhauma, jestli by dokázal zařídit setkání s pánem
Sarvabhauma went to the Lord. The Lord heard Sarvabhauma, but his reply was not positive.
A Sarvabhauma šel za pánem Chaitanyou, ptal se ho,
King?
ale jeho odpověď nebyla pozitivní.
King, the very word king was repugnant to the Lord. It was like, ugh.
A jenom to slovo král už bylo strašlivé.
How can one in the sannyas order be seen associating with a king?
Kde jsme viděli, že by se někdo v řádu sannyásu združoval s králem.
A pound, shilling and pence man? A karuna? How do you call your currency? Karuna? Koruna?
Oh yeah, koruna.
Do you have cents, or what does the other little one?
Oh yeah. Jako člověk, jako peněz.
He refused. Oh, king was so devastated when he heard the negative news.
A král z toho byl velice zdrcený, když se to dozvěděl.
He was condemning himself practically for being a king.
On se odsuzoval za to, že má tuhle pozici krále.
Give up his position, everything.
Já se vzdávám téhle pozice a všeho.
If I can't get the darshan of Lord Chaitanya, what's the use of my living?
čemu je můj život, když nebudu mít příležitost vidět
This
Pána
news
Chaitanya.
came to Lord Chaitanya, but he didn't budge. He was not willing to give way.
A i když se tohle Pán Chaitanya dozvěděl, tak vůbec na to nehleděl.
Other devotees there, even Ramananda Roy appealed on his behalf.
Dokonce i Ramananda Rai se snažil.
And then Lord Chaitanya then left to go to Allahabad.
Potom Pán Chaitanya odešel do Allahabad.
And the king was even more struck with pain.
Král byl ještě více
He
zasažen.
thought the Lord has gone away again, not to come back. Oh no.
Myslel si, Pán zase odešel a nevrátí se.
And Sarvabhauma reassured him and said, don't worry, I'm sure that your desire will be fulfilled.
A Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya ho
Take
uklidnil.
time, be patient.
Uklidni se, buď trpělivý, já jsem přesvědčený,
Very
že svou
soon.
příležitost dostane.
Very soon the Rath Yatra festival will be taking place.
Velice brzy přijde festival Ratha Yatra.
And this festival is the most merciful festival.
A tento festival je nejmilostivějším festivalem.
He was assuring you will get the chance then.
Takže on ho ujišťoval, že během Ratha
It
Yatry
was
získá svou
so
šanci.
difficult to be patient when your heart is burning in love for somebody. When your heart is burning in loving, you want to see them, you're anticipating, it's hard. Time is painful.
A jakýkoliv čas, který musíte trávit v tom očekávání, že uvidíte někoho, koho milujete, tak je
Every
velice bolestivý.
moment seems like, 10,000 years or so.
Každý okamžik vám trvá 10 000 let.
Eagerly waiting, he was hardly able to control himself.
A on ani jako sám se nemohl ovládat.
When will the Rath Yatra festival be? When?
Kdy už přijde Ratha Yatra?
When are you going to have Rath Yatra in Nove Sady?
Kdy budeme mít Ratha Yatru v Nových Sadech?
The biggest deities in Europe, practically speaking.
To jsou pravděpodobně největší božstva v Evropě.
I said very soon because the devotees from Bengal are arriving for the Rath Yatra.
A ta odpověď byla už velice brzy, protože oddaní z Bengálska přišli na
The
Ratha Yatru.
devotees from Brno are on their way here now.
Oddaní z Brna už jsou na cestě.
I want to see those devotees, Prataparudra said. I want like to see them, please.
A Prataparudra říká, já chci vidět ty oddané, já chci poznat ty oddané, ty bengalské.
Together with Sarvabhauma and Gopinathacharya, they went onto the tallest building in Puri.
Takže společně se Sarvabhauma Bhattacharyou, and who was the other one?
Gopinath.
Gopinath s Gopinathem Acharyou.
Brother-in-law of Sarvabhauma.
To byl švagr.
And from the
Sarvabhauma
distance
Bhattacharya.
there, they could see a very large group of devotees approaching Puri.
Tak mohli vidět velkou skupinu oddaných, kteří se přibližovali k Puri.
As they came closer, they could see that they were all dancing and singing the holy name.
A jak přicházeli blíž, tak oni viděli, že tancují a
They
zpívají svatá
ecstatically
jména.
entered into Puri. As they ecstatically were entering into
A
Puri.
takto extaticky oni vstoupili do Puri.
King Prataparudra was stunned.
A král Prataparudra z toho byl úplně úžasný.
Couldn't believe what he was seeing.
On nevěřil tomu, co vidí.
As all these devotees from Brno were entering Nove Sady.
Všichni oddaní z Brna takhle vstoupili do Nových Sadů.
One day.
Jednoho dne. What a prophecy.
Yeah, what a prophecy. They're probably coming in with ice creams in their mouths or and pizzas or something.
Pravděpodobně budou přicházet se
Asleep like me. When I arrived, I was fast asleep. I didn't know where I was.
I já, když jsem přijížděl, tak jsem spal, ani jsem nevěděl, kde jsem, když jsem se zbudil.
And King Prataparudra said, "What is this? What's going on here?" His whole being was just like vibrating with ecstasy.
A on se celý jako třásl v extázi, jako co to vidí, co to je za scénu.
What is this kirtan? I've never seen or heard anything like this in my whole life.
Co to je za kirtan? Já jsem nikdy v životě nic takového neviděl.
I've seen so many kirtan parties, but nothing like this.
Viděl jsem tolik jako kirtan skupin, ale nikdy nic takového.
And Gopinath explained, This is Prem Sankirtan.
A Gopinath vysvětlil, toto je Prema
This is not
Sankirtan.
ordinary Sankirtan.
Není to obyčejný
This is the Sankirtan of the pure devotees in their ecstatic love for Krishna.
To je Sankirtan čistých oddaných v jejich čisté extatické lásky, lásce k nejvyššímu.
Began to point out each and every one of those devotees, Advaitacharya, this one, that one.
A Gopinath potom začal ukazovat Prataparudra Maharájovi jednotlivé oddané, tohle Advaitacharya.
The king immediately called Kashi Mishra and Harishchandra his kind of assistants.
A král okamžitě si zavolal svoje asistenty Kashi Mishru a
arranged the best accommodation in all of Puri for each and every one of these devotees.
A nařídil jim, zařiďte to nejlepší ubytování pro každýho z těch oddaných.
And make sure they get the best of the Mahaprasadam every day.
A zajistěte, že dostanou nejlepší prasádám každý den.
Arrange servants, everything, so that their stay here is completely for their pleasure.
A zajistěte, aby po celou dobu, co tady jako zůstanou, aby se měli velice jako příjemně.
And then, of course, when Mahaprabhu heard that the devotees were coming from Bengal, he quickly returned from Alanath.
A když se Mahaprabhu dozvěděl, že přišli bengálští oddaní, tak se rychle vrátil z Alanathu.
Mahaprabhu also from a distance, as he was greeting all these devotees, sandalwood paste on their foreheads. Mahaprabhu was greeting them by putting sandalwood paste on the devotees.
A Mahaprabhu se s nima přivítal tak, že jim sloužil jako santálovou pastu na čelo, dával jim girlandy.
Now what to do? Still Mahaprabhu was not giving his darshan to the king.
Ale stále se nestalo to, že by Mahaprabhu byl ochotný dát svůj darshan králi.
He appealed to Nityananda. Nityananda was there then. Appeal was made to Lord Nityananda, please can you convince the Lord?
A byl tam i pán Nityananda, tak i on byl požádán, jestli by dokázal přesvědčit pána Chaitanya.
And certain arrangements were made. One was the cloth. They sent some of Lord Chaitanya's cloth to the king as a gift.
A pak se udělal alespoň ten aranžmán, že poslali látku, kterou používal pán Chaitanya, tak ji poslali Prataparudra Maharájovi.
He worshipped the cloth.
Tak on ji začal uctívat.
Still he wanted to give up everything if he couldn't get the darshan of the Lord.
Ale on stejně pořád se chtěl vzdát čehokoliv, aby mohl získat darshan nejvyššího pána.
The appeal of, well actually then King Prataparudra then went to all the devotees, falling at their feet, begging for their mercy.
A potom král Prataparudra přistoupil ke každému oddanému a žebral u jejich lotosových nohou.
Save my life, I cannot live any longer without the darshan.
Prosím, zachraňte můj život, já nemohu žít bez darshanu pána
So they
Chaitanya.
appealed to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Tak i oni žádali pána Chaitanya.
Still no.
Ne.
But he said one thing, he said, you can bring the prince, the son of the king here.
Ale řekl, můžete přivést prince,
So
syna
they brought
krále.
the prince there.
Tak oni přivedli prince.
And he looked just such a beautiful child.
A on byl
Darkish complexion.
velice jako pěkný
Practically
dítě.
he looked like Lord Krishna himself.
Měl tmavou barvu pleti, vypadal jak Kršna.
Mahaprabhu, on seeing him, just went into ecstatic loving affection and just embraced the child as if it was Krishna himself.
A pán Chaitanya, když ho viděl, tak vstoupil do extatického tranzu a vztahoval se k němu jako ke Kršnovi, objal ho jako Kršnu.
Child went back then to the king, the prince went back to the king.
Potom princ se vrátil ke králi.
And when the king embraced his son, of course he felt, practically speaking, the ecstasy of Mahaprabhu.
A když objal svého syna, tak ucítil tu extázi Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Never enough. He's still hankering for that association.
Ale stejně pořád toužil po jeho osobní společnosti.
So the day of Rath Yatra approached.
Takže se blížil den Ratayátry.
King Prataparudra told his servants to give all facility to Mahaprabhu's devotees.
A král Prataparudra zařídil, aby všechno potřebné bylo zařízeno, dodáno oddaným pána Chaitanya.
So here we go. So they were given this permission to enter into the inner chambers of the Jagannath temple where Lord Jagannath was in seclusion.
Takže oni dostali i povolení, aby navštívili tu místnost, kde pán Jagannath odpočíval.
So this is a ceremony which takes place just before the Lord goes out to go onto the Rath car.
A je to
Pandu Vijaya.
Je to ceremonie, která probíhá těsně předtím, než pán Jagannath jde na vůz, jmenuje se Pandu
Sri
Vijaya.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his personal associates then went to see the ceremony of Pandu Vijay. During this ceremony, Lord Jagannath leaves his throne and gets up onto the car.
That means 5, right?
5 or 6.
Poté šel Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu se svými osobními společníky zhlédnout obřad Pandu Vijay. Při tomto obřadu pán Jagannath opouští svůj trůn a vystupuje na vůz.
I'm going to jump over the next verse because I've already said that. Sri Chaitanya, says text 7, and his prominent devotees, Advaita Charya, Nityananda Prabhu and others, were very happy to observe how Lord Jagannath began the Rath Yatra.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu a jeho přední oddaní jako Advaita Acharya, Nityananda Prabhu a další byli nesmírně šťastní, že mohou být u toho, když pán Jagannath zahajuje Ratha Yatru.
The very strongly built Daitas, carriers of Jagannath deity, were as powerful as drunken elephants. They manually carried Lord Jagannath from the throne to the car.
Dobře stavění Daitové, ti, kdo nosí božstvo Jagannatha, měli sílu jako opilí sloni a vlastnoručně pána Jagannatha odnesli z trůnu na vůz.
Yeah, it mentions here they come from the Shabara caste. It's mentioned. I not read the purport. We already summarized the purport earlier on. Text 9. While carrying the deity of Lord Jagannath, some of the deities took hold of the shoulders of the Lord, and some caught hold of his lotus feet.
Někteří z daitů drželi při přenášení božstvo pána Jagannatha za ramena, jiní uchopili jeho lotosové nohy.
How heavy is Lord Jagannath?
We've never weighed him.
No. He might have got heavier since the last weigh-in, but how much? 60 kilos?
Maybe 70.
60, 70
Yeah, we would
kilos.
estimate something between.
Yes, it would take 2 devotees to carry him.
Yes,
Minimum. He's heavy, he's a big one. Big boy. But that Jagannath in Puri, how heavy is he? A lot more.
Takže pán Jagannath v Puri
Hundreds of kilos.
je určitě o mnoho těžší než
Really
pán
heavy.
Jagannath.
Takes many strong, and they have a system which we'll hear now, bringing him from the temple onto the cart.
Takže teďka uslyšíme, jakým způsobem ho přenášejí z oltáře na vůz.
The Lord Jagannath deity was bound at the waist by a strong, thick rope made of silk. From 2 sides the deitas caught hold of this rope and raised the deity.
Božstvo pána Jagannatha mělo okolo pasu uvázané pevné a tlusté hedvábné lano. Daitové za tento provaz vzali z obou stran a božstvo zvedli.
Strong, puffed up cotton pads called tulis were spread out from the throne to the car, and the heavy deity of Lord Jagannath was carried from one pillow-like pad to the next by the daitas.
Pevné a nadýchané bavlněné polštáře zvané tulí byly rozprostřeny od trůnu k vozu a daitové přenášeli těžké božstvo pána Jagannatha z jednoho polštáře.
They're kind of like bouncing him along on these pads, you know, from side to side. Bump, bump,
Oni ho takhle jako kolíbají ze strany na stranu z jednoho polštáře na druhý.
Now, this is a good way, if you're puffed up like a cotton pad, this is one of the ways you can lose your false ego.
Takže jestli jste nafoukaný stejně jako ty bavlněné polštáře, tak tohle je dobrý návod k tomu, jak přijít o falešný ego.
While the deitas carried the heavy Jagannath deity from one pad to the next, some of the pads broke, and the cotton contents floated into the air. When they broke, they made a heavy cracking sound.
Když daitové přenášeli těžké božstvo Jagannatha z polštáře na polštář, Některé z nich za hlasitého lupnutí praskly a do vzduchu se vznesla bavlna, kterou byly vycpány.
It's like when someone disturbs our false ego, we make a heavy cracking sound.
Stejně jako když někdo naše falešné ego, tak taky uděláme takovýhle hlasitý zvuk.
Lord Jagannath is the maintainer of the whole universe. Who can carry him from one place to another? The Lord moves by his own personal will just to perform his pastimes.
Pán Jagannath je udržovatelem celého vesmíru. Kdo by jej mohl nosit z místa na místo? Pán se pohybuje ze své vlastní vůle jen proto, aby se bavil.
While the Lord was transported from the throne to the car, tumultuous sounds were made on various musical instruments. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was chanting, Manima! Manima! But he could not be heard.
Zatímco byl pán přepravován z trůnu na vůz, všude okolo se rozléhal ohlušující zvuk různých hudebních nástrojů.
An Aryan word which means, great personality.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu volal Manima, Manima, ale nebylo ho slyšet.
When the Lord was being carried from the throne to the car, King Prataparudra personally engaged in the Lord's service by cleansing the road with a broom that had a golden handle.
Král Prataparudra se během přepravy pána z trůnu na vůz osobně zapojil do jeho služby tím, že zametal cestu koštětem se zlatou násadou.
There are many significant, let's say, points, not a very hard word, absolutely essential features of this pastime which are necessary if we really do want to get the darshan of the Lord.
Takže tady je vyřčených několik velice stěžejních jako skutečností, pokud opravdu se ucházíme o to získat darshan nejvyššího Pána. A můžeme je vidět na chování krále Prataparudry.
First you have to have a desire.
Takže nejdříve musíte mít touhu.
And without desire, what can you say? But with his strong desire, he first of all approached his spiritual master.
A s touto silnou touhou on nejdříve přistoupil ke svému duchovnímu mistrovi.
All of the devotees.
Poté přistoupil ke všem oddaným.
His desire was so strong, he saw no point in living without that opportunity.
A ta touha se stala tak silnou, že on nechtěl žít bez jejího naplnění.
The king of Orissa, but he was in a humble state of mind, sweeping the floor and also sprinkling scented water on the floor in front of Lord Jagannath.
A přestože byl králem Purí, tak on přijal tuto pokornou službu, že zametal a rozstříkával jako navoněnou vodu.
Although the king was the most exalted, respectable person, still he accepted menial service for the Lord. He therefore became a suitable candidate for receiving the Lord's mercy.
I když byl král tou nejvznešenější váženou osobou, přesto pro pána přijal tu nejobyčejnější službu. Tak se stal vhodným uchazačem o získání pánovy milosti.
Well, this is of course a lesson we all know, but it's a very significant one to remember.
Takže je to lekce, kterou všichni známe, ale je velice důležitý, abychom si ji pamatovali.
I'm looking over there a picture on the windowsill. Go over there. There's several pictures there, and if I'm not mistaken, I can't see clearly. Is it Smita Krishna Maharaj?
On the left, the smallest one is Smita Krishna.
And then
there is Lokanath
Maharaj, yeah. And
the
then
next one is Indra.
Indra. Okay, we could take any one of those, but let's take Indra Prabhu.
Takže my si vezmeme za příklad Indru Prabhu.
And Indra Prabhu is probably, some of you have met him and some of them.
Spousta z vás mělo možnost se s ním setkat.
Water somewhere? Put it. But way back, probably in the 90s.
Ale před dlouhou dobou, někde v 90.
I remember we were staying in Vrindavan for quite some time in the 90s actually.
Tak my jsme pobývali ve Vrindavanu docela dlouhou dobu.
And the 24-hour kirtan party was only just kind of making its mark, if you know what I mean. It's just becoming known.
A ta kirtan party, ta 24-hodinový kirtan, tak se tak nějak o něm začínalo vědět.
And Any of you been on the 24-hour kirtan in Vrindavan?
Někdo z vás byl na 24-hodinovém kirtanu ve Vrindavanu?
Yeah. You sat in on it. You sat in on the kirtans that's going on. Well, it wasn't so big in those days. There weren't so many people coming to the temple. You know,
v těch dobách to nebylo tak velký, ani nepřicházelo do chrámu tolik lidí.
And oftentimes it was more or less just the kirtan parties singing, not many public
A velice často to bylo, že opravdu jenom ti členové kirtan party jako zpívali.
Kirtan party wasn't that big.
A ta kirtan party nebyla tak.
That's when Madhya was there then.
V tu dobu tam byl Madhya.
Early 90s, very early 91 or something.
Z počátku 90. let, 91.
So it wasn't easy to get on the kirtan party actually.
A nebylo tak jednoduchý dostat se do kirtan party.
It wasn't just a matter of, of course anyone could sit down, but to be actually a member of the party was not easy.
Mohli jste si tam přijít sednout, ale být skutečně členem jako kirtan party.
You know, Madhya would be singing most of the night on his own.
Madhava většinu noci musel zpívat sám.
And during the day maybe 3, 4 devotees like that.
A během dne 3, 4 oddaní.
You think they take anyone, but no.
Mohli byste si myslet, že vezmou každýho, ale nebylo to tak.
To enter into that, you had to, like this, you had to become eligible.
A stejně jako tady je to naznačeno, tak abyste mohli se stát členem kirtan party, tak jste museli být kvalifikovaní.
Of course, only on the official party were only men. There was no ladies officially. They could sit there, but not official.
Takže členové kirtan party mohli být jenom muži, ženy mohly se připojit k kirtanu.
To get on that party, if they wanted to join, and that meant they lived in the ashram, with the party.
A abyste se mohli připojit té kirtan party a žít i jako s nima v ashramu.
For 3 months, you had to clean all the toilets in the brahmachari ashram. Every day.
Tak jste 3 měsíce museli každý den čistit toalety v celém brahmachari ashramu.
And if you passed that test, then you would be allowed to come onto the actual party.
A pokud jste prošli tímhle testem, tak vám bylo dovoleno být v kirtan party.
Yeah, it's just same thing. Even more vivid, you could say. Menial service. It's not just about here I
na tomhle příkladu ještě víc.
Here I am. I've just learnt the latest tune, and I've been practicing my soprano voice. Listen to me.
Takže já vám tady teďka předvedu tu poslední melodii, kterou jsem se naučil se svým úžasným
Madunga player.
A mimochodem jsem taky expertní hráč.
No. That's not a qualification.
Tak to není ta kvalifikace.
Humility.
Pokora.
Menial servant.
Velice jako tu jednoduchou, obyčejnou službu.
Upon seeing the king engaged in such menial service, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very happy. Simply by rendering this service, the king received the mercy of the Lord.
Když Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu viděl krále při tak obyčejné službě, velmi ho to potěšilo. Pouhým konáním této služby král obdržel Pánovu milost.
Thank you for asking about this. This is bringing up a lot of other topics. We have to move on. Everyone was astonished. What verse have I missed? What would it be next? 19?
Yeah, 19.
Everyone was astonished to see the decorations on the Rath car. The car appeared to be newly made of gold, and it was as high as Mount Sumeru.
Všichni žasli, když viděli výzdobu vozu. Vůz vypadal jako právě vyrobený ze zlata a byl vysoký jako hora Sumeru.
And I'm sure many of you know the purport. It's a fantastic purport about the 1973 Rath Yatra in London, but we won't go into it.
A jsem si jistý, že všichni, nebo že mnoho z vás zná ten význam, je to úžasný význam a je právě o Ratha Yátře ze Londýna ze 73. roku.
The decorations included bright mirrors and hundreds of chameras, white whisks made of yak tails. On top of the car were a neat and clean canopy and a very beautiful flag.
K ozdobám patřila třpitící se zrcadla a stovky čámar bílých ovývadel z větších ohonů. Na vrcholu vozu byl čistý baldachín a překrásná vlajka.
The car was also decorated with silken cloth and various pictures. Many brass bells, gongs, and ankle bell rang.
Vůz byl ozdobený také hedvábnými látkami a různými obrázky a zvonilo na něm mnoho mosazných zvonů, gongů a rolniček.
For the pastimes of the Rath Yatra ceremony, Lord Jagannath got aboard one car, and his sister Subhadra and elder brother Balaram got aboard 2 other cars.
Pán Jagannath vystoupil na vůz, aby prováděl zábavu, kterou je slavnost Ratha Játra, a jeho sestra Subhadra spolu se starším bratrem Balarámou nastoupili na další 2 vozy.
For 15 days the Lord had remained in a secluded place with the supreme goddess of fortune and had performed his pastimes with her.
15 dní pán zůstával na osamělém místě s nejvyšší bohyní štěstí a věnoval se s ní svým zábavám.
Having taken permission from the goddess of fortune, the Lord came out to ride on the Rath car and perform his pastimes for the pleasure of the devotees.
Se svolením bohyně štěstí pán vyšel ven, aby odjel na svém voze a věnoval se zábavám pro potěšení oddaných.
The fine white sand spread all over the path resembled the bank of the Jamuna, and the small gardens on both sides looked just like those in Vrindavan.
Jemný bílý písek na cestě připomínal břehy Jamuny a malé zahrádky po obou stranách vypadaly přesně jako ty ve Vrindávanu.
Do you remember the time when the footpaths in Vrindavan were all soft, very fine sand?
Pamatujete si, kdy ještě cesty ve Vrindávanu byly jenom ten jemný, měkký písek?
Hardly fine now. Not in Vrindavan town, at least.
A dneska už třeba ve městě Vrindávanu už
roads, cement, stones.
Všude jsou jenom silnice.
30-40 years ago it was all very soft, very fine sand, just like powder.
Před 40 lety to všechno byl jemňonký písek.
And Lord Jagannath rode in his car and saw the beauty on both sides. His mind was filled with pleasure.
Jak pán Jagannath jel na svém voze a sledoval krásu po obou stranách, naplňovalo to jeho mysl štěstí.
The pullers of the car were known as Gaudas, and they pulled with great pleasure. However, the car sometimes went very fast, sometimes very slow.
Těm, kdo táhnou vůz, se říká Gaudové. Tyto Gaudové vůz táhli s velkou radostí. Vůz však jel někdy rychle a někdy pomalu.
That happened in the first Rath Yatra in London in 1969.
A na té první Ratha Játře v Londýně v 69.
Car stopped after about 100 meters.
Ten vůz se zastavil asi po 100
Nobody
metrech.
could move it. That was it.
A nikdo jsme s ním nedokázali pohnout.
2 of the wheels fell off.
A 2 jeho kola odpadly.
He was stuck there on Piccadilly, is a long big road in London. Not Piccadilly, Pall Mall. Stuck in the middle of the road, and nobody could move it.
Takže ten vůz se takhle prostě
They
zastavil.
took the days off, carried the deities by hand to Trafalgar Square.
A nikdo jsme s ním
And it
jako
was the
nedokázali
biggest
pohnout.
traffic jam in London history.
A byla z toho největší dopravní zácpa v historii Londýna.
The whole central London was just blocked for hours and hours on end.
A celý to centrum Londýna bylo zablokovaný na hodiny.
Lord Jagannath's arrangement, obviously.
Samozřejmě to byl aranžmán pána Jagannatha.
Nah, the police didn't see it like that. As the car stood still, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gathered all his devotees and with his own hand decorated them with flower garlands and sandalwood pop.
Zatímco vůz stál, Šri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu shromáždil všechny své oddané a vlastnoručně je ozdobil květinovými girlandami a
What a
sandálovou
culture.
pastou.
The Supreme Lord decorating each and every devotee with sandalwood pop and garlands.
Tak co je tohle za krásnou
Now we
kulturu?
walk out there now.
Nejvyšší pán samotný zdobí své oddané girlandami a santálovou pastou.
Puffed up persons like me, we walk out there, expecting, where's my garland? Hey, sandalwood pop, over here, I'm here. Hey, can't you see my stick? I'm over here.
Not gonna translate it.
Hey, come on, they all know what it means anyway. I'm telling you my truth. I can't speak for
Jako
others.
já.
Paramanda Puri and Brahmananda Bharati were both personally given garlands and sandalwood pop from the very hands of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This increased their transcendental pleasure.
Paramananda Puri a Brahmananda Bharati dostali girlandy a santálovou pastu přímo z rukou Šri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, což zvětšilo jejich transcendentální štěstí.
And it goes on. He gives this to all the various devotees. We'll jump over that. And then we're going on to text 33. There were altogether 4 parties of kirtan performers comprising 24 chanters. In each party there were also 2 mridanga players, making an additional 8 persons.
Ti, kdo prováděli kirtan, byli rozděleni do 4 skupin a celkem jich zpívalo 24. V každé skupině byli také 2 hráči na mridangu, což je 8 dalších osob.
So these are like the main chanters in each party, 6 in each party, and 2 main dancers in the middle.
Once more.
6 main chanters in each of the 4 parties.
Takže v každých z těch 4 skupin bylo 6 hlavních zpěváků.
And two mridanga players in each party.
A v každé té skupině byli 2 mridanga hráči.
Oh, we haven't gotten to the dancers yet. That's the mridanga players. 2 mridanga players in each party. Yeah?
2 hráči na mridangu v každé skupině.
So altogether we got 32 now main kirtaniers.
Teďka už jsme na 32 hlavních kirtaních.
Then the Lord, in the next verse, when the 4 parties were formed, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after some consideration, divided the chanters.
Když byly vytvořeny tyto 4 skupiny, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu se na chvíli zamyslel
So
a pak rozdělil zpěváky.
These are the lead chanters, not just the main ones, the ones who actually lead the kirtan in each party.
Takže to byly ty hlavní vedoucí zpěváci v každé té skupině.
And now we're going to hear about the dancers in each party.
A teď uslyšíme
Lead dancers.
o vedoucích tanečnících.
Each party had 1 lead dancer.
Každá skupina měla jednoho vedoucího.
Who knows who those 4 dancers were? 1 in each party. Who were they?
Kdo ví, kdo to byli?
Nityananda Prabhu.
Jeden byl Nityananda.
Aye. Who else? Vakreshvara Pandit, who could dance for 72 hours without stopping.
Vakreshvara Pandit dokázal tancovat 72 hodin
Another
bez
party.
přestání.
2 more parties.
Ještě 2.
2 more men. Haridas Thakur was dancing in one party as the lead dancer. And who? Advaita Charya was a lead dancer.
A dalším byl Advaita Acharya.
These were the 4. It was very specific. The dancer was a really important part of the kirtan. It wasn't just a wild display. But
To byly velice důležité osobnosti, protože
everything was according to the heartbeat of the Lord. They're dancing, singing, everything, playing the kartals, madanga, everything just perfectly harmonious to the heartbeat or the will of the Lord.
Takže všechny ty činnosti, hraní na nástroje, zpívání, tanec, to všechno se vykonávalo úplně přesně podle touhy srdce Pána Chaitanya.
Or we could take it even deeper to the emotion, the loving emotion of Srimati Radharani for Krishna. Everything was perfectly arranged or harmonious with her particular mood and her particular feelings towards the Lord.
A když půjdeme ještě hlouběji, tak všechno, co se tam dělo, bylo perfektně aranžováno podle touhy Šrimati Radharani, jak sloužit té situaci.
Mahaprabhu is in the mood of Srimati Radharani.
Takže Mahaprabhu byl v náladě Šrimati Radharani.
And let's see. So Advaita Acharya, by the way, at that time was not that young.
A mimochodem Advaita Acharya v tu dobu nebyl úplně mladý.
Haridas wasn't too bad. He was somewhere in his 60s.
Haridasovi bylo něco okolo 60.
Advaita was a bit older. How old was Advaita at that time?
Advaitovi bylo trochu víc. Kolik mu bylo v tu dobu?
Older than you.
Víc než vám. Well, he was some say 42, some say 52 years older than Chaitanya.
Generally it's said about 50 years older than Mahaprabhu.
Obvykle se říká, že byl o 50 let starší.
That would make him about 78 years of age.
Takže to mohlo být nějakých
78.
Byl ten vrchní tanečník. Nikdy nejste příliš staří.
And Prabhupada was 74 when he danced, more than 70, 77 when he danced all the way from Marble Arch to Rath Yatra.
Prabhupádovi bylo 77,
same age.
Když s náma tancoval na té Ratha Játře.
Now we're going to hear about, amongst those chief singers, who the main singer, the lead singer is. So in one party, Swarup Damodar with 36, was chosen as the leader of the first party and was given 5 assistants to respond to his chanting.
Swarup Damodara byl vybrán jako vedoucí první skupiny a dostal 5 dalších, kteří budou opakovat to, co předspívával.
And he gives a list of all those persons. I'm going to jump over that in each party. And the next party which Advaitacharya was dancing in, the Lord then formed another group with Srivas Thakur as the chief man. Srivas Thakur was the chief singer in another group. Text number 38.
Advaita Acharya Prabhu dostal pokyn tančit v první skupině. Pán potom sestavil další skupinu v čele se Srivas Thakurem.
And in another group, let's see, it says who the 5 singers were in that party with Srivas. And in another group was formed, consisting of Vasudev, Gopinath, Maharaj. All these were responsive singers, and Mukunda was the chief singer. 40. Text 40.
Sestavena byla i další skupina, do které patřili Vasudeva, Gopinath a Murari. Ti odpovídali hlavnímu zpěvákovi Mukundovi.
And text number 42. And in another group, Govinda Ghosh was the lead singer.
Pán potom sestavil další skupinu, ve které určil jako hlavního zpěváka Govindu Ghoše.
And we move on now to text 44. There was a Sankirtan party from the village known as Kulina Gram, and Ramananda and Satyaraj were appointed the dancers in this group.
Byla tam také Sankirtanová skupina z vesnice zvané Kulina Gram a Ramananda se Satyarajem měli v této skupině tančit.
Another group from Shantipur was formed by Advaitacharya. Chutananda was the dancer.
Skupinu pocházející ze Shantipuru sestavil Advaita Acharya.
Another party was
a ostatní zpívali.
Another party was formed by the people of Kanda.
Další skupinu tvořili oddaní z Kandy.
And Narahari and Raghunandan were dancing.
A Raghunandana a Narahari tancovali.
4 parties chanted and danced in the front of Lord Jagannath, and on either side was another party, yet another was at the rear. 7 parties.
4 skupiny zpívali a tančili před pánem Jagannathem, jedna po jeho levé straně, jedna po pravé a ještě jedna vzadu.
So in each party, 2 men were beating drums. The sound was tumultuous, and the devotees became mad. 2 drums, just 14 drums altogether, 2 in each party.
Takže v každé té skupině hráli 2 mridangy, dohromady jich bylo 7. Celkem jich tedy hrálo 14 najednou, což vytvářelo ohlušující zvuk, při kterém všichni oddaní šíleli.
All the Vaishnavas came together like an assembly of clouds as the devotees chanted the holy names in great ecstasy. Tears fell from their eyes like rain.
Všichni Vaishnavové se sešli dohromady, jako když se zhluknou mraky, a ve velké extázi zpívali svatá jména. Z očí jim přitom tekly slzy jako déšť.
This is another meaning of, by performance of kirtan, rain comes.
To je další význam toho, když říkáme, že při kirtanu přichází déšť. Tak to znamená, že oddaní pláčou.
Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wandered through all 7 groups, chanting the holy name. Hari, Hari! Raising his hands, he shouted, "All glories to Lord Jagannath!"
Pán Chaitanya Mahaprabhu procházel všemi 7 skupinami a zpíval svatá jména. Hari, Hari. S rukama nad hlavou křičel sláva pánu Jagannathovi.
Lord Chaitanya then exhibited mystic power by performing pastimes simultaneously in all 7 groups.
Pán Šri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tehdy projevil další mystickou sílu tím, že své zábavy prováděl ve všech 7 skupinách zároveň.
Everyone said, Lord Chaitanya is present in my group. Indeed, he does not go anywhere else. He's bestowing his mercy upon us.
Každý říkal, pán Chaitanya Mahaprabhu je přítomný v mé skupině a nikam jinam nejde. Tak udílí svou milost nám.
Actually, no one could see the inconceivable potency of the Lord. Only the most confidential devotees, those in pure, unalloyed devotional service, could understand.
Nikdo ve skutečnosti pánovu nepochopitelnou moc neviděl. Rozuměli tomu pouze ti nejdůvěrnější oddaní ohroužení v čisté oddané službě.
Lord Jagannath was very much pleased by the Sankirtan, and he brought his car to a standstill just to see the performance.
Pána Jagannatha Sankirtan nesmírně potěšil a tak zastavil svůj vůz, aby se mohl dívat.
King Prataparudu was also astonished to see the Sankirtan. He became inactive and was converted to ecstatic love of Krishna.
Král Prataparudra při pohledu na Sankirtan také žasl. Zcela ustrnul a upadl do extáze lásky ke Kršnovi.
When the king informed Kashimishra of the glories of the Lord, Kashimishra replied, O king, your fortune has no limit.
Král řekl Kášimu Mišrovi o slávě pána a ten odpověděl, o králi, tvé štěstí nezná hranic.
Because the king could see the Lord in all 7 parties at once.
On jako král, tak on mohl vidět pána ve všech těch 7 skupinách najednou.
The king and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya were both aware of the Lord's activities, but no one else could see the tricks of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Král i Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya si byli pánových činností vědomi. Nikdo jiný však triky pána Chaitanya Mahaprabhu vidět nemohl.
Only a person who has received the mercy of the Lord can understand. Without the Lord's mercy, even the demigods headed by Lord Brahma cannot understand.
Pochopit to může pouze ten, kdo dostal pánovu milost. Bez pánovy milosti to nepochopí ani polobozi v čele s pánem Brahmou.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had been very satisfied to see the king accept the menial task of sweeping the street, and for this humility the king received the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He could therefore observe the mystery of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's activities.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu viděl, jak král přijal podřadnou práci zametání ulice a toho velmi potěšilo. Za svoji pokoru král získal jeho milost, díky které mohl vidět tajemství činností Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Although the king had been refused an interview, he was indirectly bestowed causeless mercy. Who can understand the internal potency of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu?
Králi bylo sice odepřeno setkání, ale nepřímo dostal bezpříčinnou milost. Kdo může porozumět vnitřní energii Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu?
When the 2 great personalities, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Kashi Mishra, saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's causeless mercy upon the king, they were astonished.
2 vznešené osobnosti, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya a Kashi Mishra, žasly nad bezpříčinnou milostí, kterou Chaitanya Mahaprabhu králi udělil.
Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed his pastimes for some time in this way. He personally sang and induced his personal associates to dance.
Pán Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu se po nějakou dobu takto věnoval svým zábavám, při kterých osobně zpíval a roztančil své společníky.
According to his need, the Lord sometimes exhibited one form, sometimes many. This was being executed by his internal potency.
Pán podle potřeby projevil někdy jednu podobu a jindy mnoho podob. Vykonávala to jeho vnitřní energie.
Indeed, the personality of Godhead forgot himself in the course of his transcendental pastimes, but his internal potency, Lila Shakti, knowing the intentions of the Lord, made all arrangements.
Nejvyšší pán, osobnost božství, se při svých zábavách zcela zapomněl, ale jeho vnitřní energie Lila Shakti zařídila vše potřebné, protože znala jeho touhu.
Just as Lord Sri Krishna formerly performed the Rasa Lila dance and other pastimes at Vrindavan, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed uncommon pastimes moment after moment.
Pán Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu v každém okamžiku prováděl neobvyklé zábavy, tak jako předtím ve Vrindávanu prováděl pán Sri Krishna tanec Rasa Lila a další zábavy.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dancing before the Rath Yatra car, could be perceived only by pure devotees. Others could not understand. Descriptions of Lord Krishna's uncommon dancing can be found in the revealed scripture Srimad Bhagavatam.
Tančení Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu a před Ratayátrovým vozem mohli vidět pouze čistí oddaní. Nikdo jiný tomu nerozuměl. Popisy neobyčejného tance pána Kršny lze najít ve zjeveném písmu Srimad Bhagavatam.
In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced in great jubilation and inundated all the people with waves of ecstatic love.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tak s velkou radostí tančil a všechny lidi zaplavoval vlnami extatické.
Thus Lord Jagannath mounted his car and Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inspired all his devotees to dance in front of it.
Takto pán Jagannath nastoupil na vůz a pán Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inspiroval všechny své oddané, aby před vozem tančili.
Now please hear Lord Jagannath going to the Gundicha temple where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced before the Rath car.
Nyní prosím naslouchejte, jak jel pán Jagannath do chrámu Gundiči, zatímco Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tančil před jeho vozem.
The Lord performed kirtan for some time, and through his own endeavor, he inspired all the devotees to dance.
Pán nějakou dobu zpíval kirtan a jeho osobní snaha povzbudila všechny oddané k tanci.
When the Lord himself wanted to dance, all 7 groups combined together.
Když chtěl tančit samotný pán, všech 7 skupin se spojilo dohromady.
Move on to 74. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu desired to jump high while dancing, he placed the 9 people, 9 leaders, in the charge of Swarup Damodar.
Když chtěl Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu při tanci skákat do výšky, svěřil těchto 9 osob, těch 9 vedoucích, do péče Svarupy Damodary.
Swarup Damodar and these devotees in his charge sang along with the Lord, and they also ran beside him. All the other groups of men also sang.
Tito oddaní, Svarup Damodar a oddaní, kteří mu byli svěřeni, zpívali s pánem a utíkali vedle něho. Všechny ostatní skupiny také zpívali.
Offering obeisances to the Lord with folded hands, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu raised his face towards Jagannath and prayed as follows. Let's all look at Lord Jagannath.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu se klaněl pánu se sepjatýma rukama, potom zhlédl k Jagannathovi a přednesl následující modlitbu.
Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmanya Hitaya Cha Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Folded hands and we chanted. You don't need to read this. These are what Lord Chaitanya prayed or glorified the Lord.
Takže to jsou modlitby, kterými pán Chaitanya opěvoval nejvyššího pána.
Jayati Jayati Devo Devaki Nandanoso Jayati Jayati Krishna Vrishni Vankshapadipah Jayati Jayati Mega Shamala Kamalango Jayati Jayati Prithvi Bharanasho Mukunda. You have to read the translation yourself another time.
Musíte si přečíst ty překlady jindy sami.
Jayati Jananivaso Devaki Janmavaro Yadavaraya Parishad Svayado Birasyanna Dharmam Sirachara Vijignas Bittasmi Mukena Brajapura Vinitanam Vadayam Kamadevam. Long. Huh?
We should read at least this one.
We should what?
We should read at least this one.
Which one? Which one?
We chanted.
That one. It's a long verse. You read it in Czech.
Takže v češtině ten verš, který jsme
They read it themselves, lazy people.
Pán Šrí Krishna je známý jako Jananivása, neboli konečné útočiště všech živých bytostí, a také jako Devaki Nandana nebo Jašoda Nandana, syn Devaki a Jašody. Je vůdcem Jaduovské dynastie a svýma mocnýma rukama zabíjí vše neblahé a také všechny bezbožné lidi. Svou přítomností ničí vše, co je nepříznivé pro veškeré pohyblivé i nehybné živé bytosti. Jeho blažená usmívající se tvář neustále zvětšuje chtivé touhy gopí z Vrindávanu. Nechť je vždy slavný a šťastný.
And another verse Lord Chaitanya offered in front of Lord Jagannath. Nahang vipro nachanarapatir napi vaisho nashudro Nahang vani nachagirpatir novanasto yatirva Kintu prajan nikila paramananda param ritabder Gopi bartu padakamalor dasa dasa nudasa. Everybody knows that verse.
Všichni známe tento verš.
These were uttered by Lord Chaitanya, these verses.
To jsou verše, které byly vyřčeny pánem Chaitanyou.
Having recited all these verses from scriptures, the Lord again offered his obeisances, and all the devotees with folded hands also offered prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Po přednesení těchto veršů z písem se pán znovu poklonil a všichni oddaní se také se sepjatýma rukama modlili k nejvyšší osobnosti božství.
Then the Lord began dancing. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced and jumped high, roaring like thunder and moving in a circle like a wheel, he appeared like a circling firebrand.
Šri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tančil, skákal do výšky a hřímal. Přitom se točil dokola a tak vypadal jako ohnivý kruh.
You know, a firebrand, you can't see it. It's just a complete circle of fire. It's moving so fast.
Znáte to, ne? Když točíte jako něčím,
Sometimes
tak to
devotees
udělá, tak to udělá.
spin around in the kirtan sometimes, huh? Because they're not that fast, but sometimes quite fast.
Jako když se oddaní točí v kirtanu. Ne vždycky tak rychle, ale někdy docela rychle.
Wherever Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stepped while dancing, the whole earth with its hills and seas appeared to tilt. Earthquake.
Kdykoliv se Šrý Čejtana Maháprabhu při tanci dotkl nohou země, zdálo se, že se celá planeta i se svými horami a oceány naklání. Něco jako zemětřesení.
When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced, he displayed various blissful transcendental changes in his body. Sometimes he appeared as though stunned. Sometimes the hairs on his body stood on end. Sometimes he perspired, cried, trembled, changed color. Sometimes he exhibited symptoms of helplessness, pride, exuberance and humility.
Šrý Čejtana Maháprabhu při svém tančení projevoval různé blažené transcendentální tělesné změny. Chvílemi to vypadalo, jako by stuhl a chvílemi se mu ježily chlupy na těle. Chvílemi se potil, plakal, třásl se a měnil barvy. Jindy zase projevoval příznaky bezmocnosti, pýchy, nevázanosti a pokory.
When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fell down with a crash while dancing, he would roll on the ground. At such times it appeared that a golden mountain was rolling on the ground.
Někdy Šrý Čejtana Maháprabhu při tanci se zaduněním upadl a začal se válet po zemi. Tehdy to vypadalo, že se po zemi válí Zlatá hora.
Nityananda Prabhu would stretch out his two hands and try to catch the Lord when he was running here and there.
Pán běhal sem a tam a Nityananda Prabhu rozpřahoval ruce, aby ho chytil.
Advaitacharya would walk behind the Lord and loudly chant, Haribol! Haribol! Again and again.
Advaita Acharya chodil za pánem a znovu hlasitě volal. Haribol, Haribol!
Just to check the crowds from coming too near the Lord, the devotees formed 3 circles. The first circle was guided by Nityananda Prabhu, who was Balaram himself, the possessor of great strength.
Aby oddaní pána uchránili před davy lidí, vytvořili okolo něho 3 kruhy. První kruh vedl Nityananda Prabhu, který je samotný Balarám, vlastník velké síly.
All the devotees, headed by Kashishvar and Govinda, linked hands and formed a second circle around the Lord.
Všichni oddaní vedení Kašíšvarou a Govindou se uchopili za ruce a vytvořili okolo pána druhý kruh.
We did that a little bit with Prabhupada, you know, there was like a circle of devotees protecting when he was dancing. You know?
A my jsme to, takovou podobnou věc jsme dělali okolo Prabhupády, když Prabhupád tancoval.
Maharaj Prataparudra and his personal assistants formed a third circle around the 2 inner circles just to check the crowds from coming too near.
Maharaj Prataparudra se svými osobními pomocníky vytvořili okolo 2 vnitřních kruhů 3. kruh, aby zabránili davům dostat se příliš blízko.
Anyway, this goes on and on, deeper and deeper and deeper. I don't know how much time we've got. You know.
Tohle to bude pokračovat jenom
We may be going deeper.
hlouběji a hlouběji.
We may be going deep and others are going to sleep.
A já nevím, jak dlouho si ještě můžeme dovolit pokračovat, protože my se budeme dostávat hlouběji a někdo jiný se bude dostávat.
It doesn't rhyme in Czech, though. It doesn't rhyme in Czech.
Yeah.
English is a rhyming language. Yeah? And this dancing went on and on. Of course, we can briefly summarize, I think.
Takže můžeme alespoň v krátkosti to shrnout.
And we won't get into the ecstatic transformations of Lord Chaitanya's body while he was dancing, but
nebudeme popisovat ty transcendentální proměny extatický pánova těla.
Crashed to the floor. It looked like all of his bones were broken. He crashed so hard to the floor.
A když padl na zem, tak to vypadalo, jako by si rozbil všechny kosti v těle.
And by the arrangement of divine providence, or by the arrangement of Leela Shakti, or the internal potency, whatever it was, nobody was around to see to the Lord.
A tím aranžmánem Leela Shakti to vypadalo, jako by nikdo nedokázal pánu Chaitanyovi pomoct.
And King Prataparudra somehow or another burst forward to pick the Lord up.
A král Prataparudra byl ta osoba, která přiběhla na pomoc pánu Chaitanyovi, pomoc mu se zvednout.
Lord Chaitanya came to external consciousness.
A pán Chaitanya přišel k
no! I've been touched by a king! Oh no!
A řekl, ne, dotkl se mě král.
King Prataparudra flew back. He was like stunned. Oh, what of offense. He felt like he caused a tremendous offense to the Lord.
A najednou Prataparudra Maharaj se cítil, jak kdyby udělal obrovský přestupek vůči pánu.
But Sarvabhauma assured him, don't worry. Actually, the king is very pleased with you. Lord Chaitanya is very pleased with you.
Ale Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya ujistil krále Prataparudru, aby se neobával, že ve skutečnosti pán Chaitanya je s ním velice potěšen.
Many pastimes took place, but eventually, after dancing for hours,
a spoustu zábav se takto odehrálo a nakonec po mnoho hodinách
they reached a place called Balagandi.
Tak dospěli k místu, které se jmenuje Balagandi.
And in Balagandi is where enormous offerings are made of different preparations.
A tam se pánu obětuje obrovské množství preparací.
The whole street is covered with preparations.
Celá ulice je pokrytá různými
preparacemi. You can do that here,
preparacemi.
you can do that pastime here. Cover the whole street with offerings, Lord Jagannath Rathkar.
Až budete tu zábavu dělat tady, tak pokryjte celou tu silnici preparacemi pro pána.
Everyone can bring, it doesn't matter who you are, even the Muslims can bring their offerings.
Každý může něco přinést, bez ohledu na to, kdo jste, dokonce i muslimové můžou přinést.
And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates took a little break from the ecstatic kirtan and went into the nearby gardens.
A pán Chaitanya se svými společníky si vzali chvíli odpočinek a šli do nedalekých zahrad.
This is like the crossing point between Sri Kshetra and, or we could say like Mathura Dwarka and Vrindavan.
A je to vlastně jakoby ty zahrady reprezentují tu hranici mezi Mathurou a Dvárakou a Vrindávanem.
So at that point Lord Chaitanya was lying, resting with his associates. And at that time, you say that first.
A pán Chaitanya v tu chvíli ležel, odpočíval se svými společníky.
At that time, then Sarvabhauma said to King Prataparudra.
A v tu chvíli Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya vyzval krále Prataparudru.
Now is the time.
Nyní je tvůj čas.
Take off your royal dress.
Sundej si svůj královský šat.
And he adorned the dress of a mendicant, a simple sadhu.
A vezmi si na sebe oblečení jednoduchého sádhua.
Sarvabhauma told the king, you now go into the garden.
A běž do té zahrady.
And take permission from all the devotees.
Požádej o svolení všechny oddané.
To massage the Lord's lotus legs and feet.
Abys mohl masírovat nohy a chodidla nejvyššího pána.
And sing. The Lord will be resting and you sing the Gopi Gita.
A pán bude odpočívat a ty mu recituj Gopi Gitu.
So the king did as Sarvabhauma said and entered the garden.
Takže král udělal to, co mu Sarvabhauma řekl.
He took the dust of the lotus feet of the devotees and their permission.
Vešel do zahrady, přijal prach z nohou Vaishnavů a žádal je o svolení.
Began to massage the Lord's legs and lotus feet.
A začal masírovat pánovi nohy a lotosová chodidla.
Simultaneously singing the verses of Gopi Gita.
A zároveň s tím zpíval verše Gopi Gity.
As soon as Lord Chaitanya, who was apparently resting, heard the sound of King Prataparudra singing these verses, he came to external consciousness.
A okamžitě, jak pán Chaitanya zaslechl hlas toho, jak Prataparudra
Go on chanting, go on chanting, go on chanting, he said.
Recitoval ty verše, zpíval ty verše Gopi Gity, tak přišel k vnějšímu vědomí a povzbuzoval ho. Zpívej dál, zpívej dál.
And eventually King Prataparudra came to probably the most famous verse of the Gopi Gita.
A nakonec král Prataparudra došel k pravděpodobně nejslavnějšímu verši Gopi Gity.
Tavagatam vitam tapta jivanam kavibiriditam kelmashapaham shravanamangalam srimadatatam bhuvi vinantiye purida janaha.
I don't know it by heart.
You know it by heart. You say it by heart. Don't worry about the words. Summarize it. Go on.
Oh.
It is there in this later. I don't know where.
Do you know the number?
I don't know the number. But
Nikdo neví, co to znamená.
If someone has it there, maybe you can say it. Just say it in Czech. Don't just say it in English. The most merciful. Only topics concerning the Lord, topics spoken about the Lord, are the only panacea for those suffering in this world.
Jenom náměty o nejvyšším pánu dokážou utišit jeho oddané.
Such subject matter, topics should be spread everywhere.
A takové náměty by měly být rozšířeny všude.
And those devotees who are distributing these messages all over the world are the greatest welfare workers.
A oddaní, kteří roznávají, kteří šíří tyto náměty, tak mají být považováni za nejvelkodušnější.
So these verses, of course, were recited by none other than Srimati Radhika.
A tento verš byl recitován nikým jiným než Srimati Radhika.
When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard Prataparuddha Maharaj recite this verse particularly, he rose to his feet.
A když pán Chaitanya uslyšel Prataparudru Maharaj recitovat tento specifický verš, tak se zvedl.
Picking up the king, holding him in his arms and embracing him.
A zvedl i Prataparudru Maharaj, objal ho.
You are my greatest friend. You are my greatest friend.
A říkal mu, ty jsi můj
Where have you
nejlepší
come
přítel,
from?
ty jsi můj nejlepší
Who are
přítel.
you?
Odkud jsi přišel, kdo jsi?
I am the lowest of your servants, my lord.
A odpověď byla, já jsem nejnižší z tvých služebníků.
I have nothing to give you in return for these unlimited jewels which you have given me.
Nemám nic, čím bych se ti odvděčil za ty neomezené drahokamy, které jsi mi nabídl.
And they danced together.
A tancovali společně v
In
extázi.
this way the king received the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Tímto způsobem král obdržel milost Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
And of course the festival went on and on, many more things took place.
A samozřejmě ten festival pokračoval, spoustu dalších věcí se událo.
Finish there and with this note that King Prataparuddha is really showing us the essence of Rath Yatra.
A my zde skončíme s tím, že si budeme pamatovat, že král Prataparudra nám ukázal esenci této
When we
zábavy.
say the essence, we mean from our perspective, from our point of view, how we can achieve that, let's say, mercy of Chaitanya
A
Mahaprabhu.
když řekneme, že je to esence, tak tím myslíme, že nám ukázal, jakým způsobem získat milost
If nothing
nejvyššího
else,
pána.
try to remember or imbibe some of the points which were there in King Prataparudra's determination.
A můžeme si jako upomínat o těch věcí, které byly důležité jako na cestě krále Prataparudry k té milosti.
And the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Rath Yatra Festival is still there today as much as ever.
A milost pána Chaitany při Ratayátře je dostupná dnes stejně jako byla vždycky.
If we develop this mood of humility and devotion exhibited by the king, Prataparudra, then anybody would be able to say, could be eligible to receive this mercy.
A pokud rozvineme stejnou pokoru a oddanost jako král Prataparudra, tak každý z nás se může obdržet stejnou milost Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
One of the symbolic aspects of this, which is very significant, was the king changing his dress.
A jedna z velice důležitých symbolik této zábavy bylo, že si král změnil to oblečení.
Taking off that false identity.
Že se zbavil té falešné identity.
Naham vipro nachanarapatir, napi vaisho nashuru, naham vani chanarapatir yovanastir. There you go. Kintu projan nikila paramananda purnamritane, gopi bharto padakamam, dasa dasa midasa. The king manifested or personified this particular
Takže král tím způsobem vlastně byl zosobněním tohoto verše.
and with all really no false ego, No false identity.
Žádné falešné ego, žádná falešná totožnost.
With all humility,
Se vší pokorou
taking shelter of the Vaishnavas,
přijal útočiště u Vajšnavů
he surrendered himself at the lotus feet of the Lord.
a odevzdal se u lotosových nohou nejvyššího Pána.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Jagannath Rath Yatra ki jai, Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanandi. Hare Krishna. Okay, Hari Bol. Jai. Done. So we're looking forward to the Nove Sady Rath Yatra. Please let us know when you're having it.
Takže my se těšíme na Ratha Játru v Nových Sadech. Dejte nám vědět,
I won't
až
make
bude.
a promise, but I will. Wherever I'm in the world, I'll try to come. But I'm not going to promise because
Neslibuju to, ale kdekoliv budu ve
I
světě,
know what
tak
you'll
se budu
do.
snažit
You'll have a
přijet.
tiny little Rath Yatra next week. The little tiny deities on a pushchair going around the village. We had a Rath Yatra who never came.
Ne, že zítra tady jenom provezete malinký božstva takhle jako na židličce někde a pak mě budete vyčítat, že my jsme měli Ratha Játru minulý týden a ty jsi nepřijel.
I remember the first Rath Yatra in New Zealand, in Auckland. They had a pram, you know, a baby's pram. They had Jagannath on the baby's pram.
že když jsem byl jako na první Ratha Játře v Novém Zélandu, tak tam měli božstva pána Jagannatha na kočárku.
And they went round a couple of blocks and then ended up in the park nearby and had a festival.
A oni takhle obešli 2 bloky a pak měli program jako v parku.
Okay, thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Janananda Maharaj ki jai.
His fault. It's all his fault. It's your fault. He doesn't understand
Je
what
to
I mean.
tvoje chyba.
Yeah. We would have finished an hour ago if it hadn't been. Yeah. 7:40. My God, that's a long one, huh? That was 2.5 hours, mate.
We went.
Really? Well, thank you all very much. Now we'll have kirtan around the village, is it? We go for Harinam and all, huh? Eh?
We can try.
One, I don't know. Do you ever do kirtan around the village?
Not really. We've done previously when most of the devotees moved here.
Okay.
We managed to upset.
Oh yeah, you would have
most of
upset a village indeed.
So now we are.
Yeah, you've got to be careful. In your own village, you have to be very careful. That's a fact. We almost lost the manor because of the same thing. You know. Devotees being too enthusiastic to convert the conscious or transform the consciousness of the villagers. And they succeeded, but not in the way they wanted to succeed. They convinced all the villagers they didn't want us there anymore.
Maharaj říká, že takhle málem přišli o manor, že byli velice entuziastický, oddaný, mysleli si, my změníme vědomí tady těch vesničanů, tak to se jim povedlo, ale ne úplně způsobem, jakým chtěli.
Hare Krishna. Okay, what to do now?
We have some Edward Cramble.
Some